Hey, what's up, burners? Welcome to the Monday Meltdown. I'm your host, Big Boned at FFB. You can find all my stuff on Big Boned at FFB on Twitter, Big Boned at FFB on Substack. There's a link to that in my Twitter account. You are on my Big Boned FFB YouTube channel, and I will be coming to you every week with the Monday Meltdown. So I hope that you enjoy. We should have a couple guests on tonight, and that'll make everything a little bit more fun. Um, I'm drinking Old Tub bourbon. You can see it kind of over my shoulder in my new studio. This is actually a converted bedroom, and this is an unfiltered pre-prohibition recipe, bottled and bond from bourbon from Jim Beam. So it's delicious. If you can find it, I have a funny story about it. We'll get into that in a little bit. Oh, that's good. I just swallowed it wrong. Um, yeah, so we're watching Monday Night Football, watching the Manning cast because we just say no to Joe Buck around these parts, and uh, yeah, that was very good. So real quickly, I'm gonna call up my screen again. I know that you're not watching because I have a little thing that shows me how many people are watching. My Dynasty Pros Football.com co-host on the weekend warm up every week, Mike Grindberg, Mike Lindberg at FF Connect 99. He should be joining me in a little while. And my son should hop back in for the first time in a couple weeks. So he will be with us. And I'm just getting everything set up. I appreciate you joining me. And this week we have our regular segments. We're going to go with duh. Um, those are things that happened in fantasy football this weekend that did not surprise us at all. And what the fuck? Those are things that happened in fantasy football this weekend that were kind of shocking. And don't give up. Um, Basically, kind of down performances from guys that, and we have a touchdown Vikings. That was a great throw from Kirk Cousins to Jordan Addison. And yeah, and then You Asshole, which is the segment in which we go ahead and uh, point out the production vultures and touchdown vampires and, sorry, production vampires and touchdown vultures of the week and designate an asshole of the week. That one's a fun one. And then if we can get Mike and Liam to stick around until the end, we'll do a draft, a fantasy draft of something cool. Um, yeah. So anyway, grab yourself an adult beverage. I've got my bourbon here. And as soon as we get any of our guests, we'll go ahead and get the show started. And we're in commercial on Monday Night Football. So anyway, this is a terrible, terrible week for me in fantasy football. I struggled with a whole lot of injury outs, And by Mageddon, I had so many guys on bye that I had been counting on, and most of my leagues I took the L, and yeah, so it was pretty bad. And then worst of all was in the Scott Fish Bowl. So right now I'm sitting at 11-1. This week, week 7, it took 13. It would take 13 wins to get into the Scott Fish Bowl playoffs, and all I needed was to go 2-0, and I would have gotten in on the first week that it was possible. And I took the huge L. I'm gonna go 11-3 by the end of the weekend, and just to give you a little bit of, I I'm the number one team, 11-1. I've been sitting in first place. Rhinos, my boy, he's been in second. We've been trading off back and forth. I actually held first place for a couple weeks, and we went head to head. So I was sitting at 145 points. Josh Jacobs did nothing, 8.85 points. Zach Evans, I'll get to why I had to start him in a second. Mike Evans had a good day. Rashid Shaheed didn't do much. Hawkinson is going now, and he's doing okay. Marvin Mims got me negative points. I'll get to why I had to start him in a second. I started Trey McBride by injury, and he actually wound up getting me 11 points. And then I went with Lamar. He got me 50. And Tyler Bass, 10.2. So my quarterback choices were Sam Howell or Jared Goff, and I'm glad I went with Sam Howell, 16.06 points, because I would have been real disappointed at the Jared Goff 15.8. So my running backs at this point are James Conner, IR, Zamir White. He almost had as many points as Josh Jacobs. Brees Hall on bye, Keaton Mitchell, and that's my running back squad. Nico Collins, Treylon Burks, Quentin Johnston. Those are my wide receivers. Foster Moreau and Pat Freiermuth. I was counting on Freiermuth coming back. He didn't. That's why I went with Trey McBride. And Tyler Bass Tyler Bass is the number one kicker in the fishbowl. He was last year, so that was a good draft pick by me. But he's got a bye coming up, so I went and grabbed Kaimi Fairbairn. Anyway, so I'm going to go 11-3, and it's going to be another week before I make the fishbowl. And so that's kind of a. Oh, is there somebody here? Hey, KTG38, know the game. Liam, what's up?
Hey.
Yeah, it's a little loud. It's a little loud.
Hmm?
Um, you're here. Can't see my camera on the screen. Don't know if that's me and I'm on the stream or not.
Yeah, you had to put me on there manually. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was just trying to get through
Yeah,
what I had
I'll get through
started,
your intro and all that.
and
Hmm.
not that anybody's watching anyways.
True.
Um,
We do this for the love of the game.
yeah, I don't do it for the viewers.
Yeah.
Let me get I figured out. So if you recall, um, Liam and all my viewers, the trouble that I've been having with my opener, right? Because
Yeah.
I kept doing it and it would stop in the middle.
Yeah.
I fig. What the hell just happened? I figured
You
out
got
a
it to work.
different way to do it,
Mm.
and so it's gonna.
All right. Well, I like the backdrop. I like that you're just keeping the TV stand there.
Yeah, I can put stuff on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little broken. I don't know who did that. Probably someone very angry.
Can you see that it's broken from where you're at?
A little bit. I can just see the one part on the left that's like there should be something there.
On my left, that or
No,
my
on your right.
on my right.
Your right, my left.
So if I go like this, can you see it?
No. Is the TV there, or did you sell it like I asked?
Um, the TV is here.
Okay.
Not the broken one.
Yeah, no, that one I threw away, I thought.
No, you didn't.
Oh.
Yeah. No, that monitor is here.
Yeah.
I use it to watch stuff when I'm in here.
Oh.
Which, let me get the show started, and then I'll fantasy burn. Remove. All right. Hey, everybody. It's a fantasy bird. Meltdown.
Is
So,
anyone out there?
nope. I can see on the little ticker that shows how many people are watching.
Mm.
So
You'll get there.
I'm gonna record a new intro
Mm.
for next week, but it's gonna be da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. It's the Monday meltdown. Da-da-da-da,
Mm.
da-da-da-da-da. Right?
We'll go back into this recording and just use the audio you just used or you just did to.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and do it right and get an actual like MP3 of the
Oh, okay.
keyboard
All
thing.
right. Because
But
I would love if it was just
it's
that.
just me. It's just
Yeah.
it's the Monday meltdown. Do. Yeah, no, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll do that instead.
Yeah. No, that'd be awesome.
I thought of doing like a bunch of them where it's like
Mm.
Monday meltdown, the Mr. Crowley song, and then at the very end go, "You're in the meltdown, baby. You're gonna die." From Welcome to the Jungle. And anyway,
Yeah. Everyone watching over 30 got that.
look,
I'm not there yet. David almost is, but I'm not.
in 1987, when I was 13 years old,
Mm.
I knew songs from 20 years before.
Okay. I
so
I know good
so
songs from 20 years before, but you just said "Welcome to the Jungle."
so people who were born in 1990 in 2007 know songs. Wait, I don't know. Whatever.
You got this.
Ask. Oh, let me show you this. Look at that. Look at that.
What's that? Oh, what happened?
So you can even see the red. The
Yeah.
red. That's
I'm
like
assuming it's blood, not crayon.
no. It's a bit. It's just crayon.
Oh.
No, it's fucking blood.
Yeah.
So I go down and I'm hanging with Rebecca for a second,
Mm.
and here comes dumbass with the fucking book in his
Oh,
mouth,
yeah. I should have already known it was the dog.
and he's like, "Play with me." So we did this. We did this yesterday. So last night,
Hmm.
uh, we have dinner. There's some chicken and salad, and I have my plate, and I sit down, and I'm holding it, and he comes over, and he's like, "Play with me with the rope," and so I'm playing tug of war with him, and
Hmm.
then at one point he like lets go, and it
Just
causes
bites on the hand.
no, he lets go, and it hits like the plate just went whoa, and salad all over the living room.
Oh.
Like my dumbass is sitting there holding the plate
Yeah.
instead of sitting it down to like play with him. I'm like, I can do this with one hand. Salad everywhere. Luckily, my food, except for or no, it was quiche. We had quiche and salad. It was
Oh, nice.
phenomenal. Um, so there's salad everywhere. My quiche stayed on the plate. So
Oh, thank
then
God. The part you were going to eat.
the salad was hella good though. It's a Trader Joe's salad with potato chips in it, and it's fucking good.
Oh, okay.
But
So
I
it's
only
like
I only
salad,
got
but
a little bit. I didn't just do this. Isn't like white power or anything. It's a little bit. That's what I meant.
yeah.
Um, okay,
Yeah,
so
but that's this. You went the full. You went
did
the
we
whole
just
skadoosh.
did we just score again? Skull.
Oh.
Anyway, so I'm getting ready to come on. This is
Hmm.
after we talked on the phone, and
Hmm.
I go down and I'm having her taste this bourbon that I'm drinking right now. And so I'm sitting there. I sit down on the jetty part of the couch, and he comes over and he's like, "Play with
Hmm.
me." So I'm playing tuggy with him, I start like doing the spin him around in the circle thing,
Yeah.
and then he goes up like this, and then he comes down, and one
Claw.
special edge on one claw. Like I touch
Yeah.
his feet all the time. It's
Yeah.
one little. It just
Little
it
notch.
goes slice like
Yeah.
it's from here all the way down my thumb, and I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, so I finished my story. Rebecca keeps going, do you want gauze? And I'm like, no, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. Because I had to finish my
Yeah.
story. So I finished my story, and then I got up and like, and I cleaned it, and
Hmm.
I put pressure on it for a while, and then I put Neosporin on it, and it keeps bleeding. I can't like,
Mm.
and I was like, fuck, okay, well, I'll put some gauze on it. And it's like the gauze is soaking it up, and like it's
Yeah.
much worse than I thought.
Hmm. Aren't there like, isn't there not an artery, but isn't there like a pretty big vein or something in your thumb?
Do I
Something like
look
that?
like an anatomist? Is
What?
that do I look like an anatomist?
I don't
An
know.
an anatomist? Do I look
I
like I
don't know.
know anatomy?
Yeah, honestly.
You're right. I do.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at anatomy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good.
Oh yeah, where's the
Pretty
femur?
in the leg.
Ha,
Duh.
wrong. It's in the foot
No, that would be the
leg. But
metatarsals.
isn't the leg a foot?
No, the foot is a foot, and malfeasance is a foot.
I'm smart in other ways.
I know.
Yeah. I think the saddest part about that whole story is that like we someone from the outside who doesn't know the dog would be like, "Oh, so he clawed you and he hurt you. That must suck." And it's like for us and our perspective, it's like, "No, that's just Murdoch. Like he just doesn't understand how big he is." But that's also it doesn't sound like it should be just a normal thing. But
he
we're
just
like, "No, that's just the dog. We all have scars and like scratches."
he's just a big dumb 110-pound 7-year-old puppy.
Yeah. God, he's 7 already?
He'll be 7 in January,
Good God.
right?
I was 14 when we got him? No,
Yeah,
that makes sense actually. Oh my God.
yeah,
Whew.
yeah.
Time
He's.
flies, and he's still just as dumb as the day he was born.
Oh my god, he and I are going to be the same age.
Hmm. Okay.
We'll both be 49.
Hmm. True, because times 7. Yeah.
Right, but he's a pit bull, so it's more like 5, or no,
Oh,
9, no, 11. Yeah, he'll be.
that was a large gray area, by the
He'll be
way.
more like 88 years old in dog years, but I don't know.
So
It's
he'll
the
be calling
stupidest.
Grandpa youngin.
Dog years are 7 years. No, stop it. Dogs are there. It's the same year. It's the same
Hmm.
year. A year on
Hmm.
Earth is a year on Earth. It's one turn around the sun. That's it. And dogs experience it the same way we do, and so do fucking elephants and
Hmm.
tortoises and fucking mayflies. And it doesn't matter what kind of organism you are. A year is a goddamn year.
No, I think the size of the being equates to how they perceive the time.
No,
Yeah, like a fly experiences things faster than we do because it's smaller. So its
okay.
perception would
So
be
the perception, relativity of perception. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm
okay.
talking about is we are all organisms on
Oh
the
yeah,
Earth.
it is the same actual
We
amount of time.
we travel around the Earth
I
at
get
the
what you're
same
saying.
time. As
I get what
humans,
you're saying.
we break it into 365 days,
Hmm.
but it's the same. It's a fucking year. It's a year for dogs. So dogs
Yeah.
only live to 10 years old. Yeah,
Hmm.
10. That's not the equivalent of 7 human years. That's 10 dog years. because 10 dog years is 10 human years.
Okay, let's start the show.
Wait,
Oh, okay. That wasn't our duh segment? Okay. Duh,
no,
this is what the dog does.
no. I mean, I have to do the. Oh wait. Okay, so for my
I won't make this episode too Raider centric.
for the sketch troupe, I'm doing
Mm,
all these videos. My
yeah.
my the video that I'm doing next is I get an email that says like I'm actually the king of England,
Mm.
and my buddy who's hanging out with me is like, that sounds like Nigerian. I'm like, it's not Nigerian, it's British. And then at the very end, it's like, just send us your mom's maiden name and social security number because I'm all excited. But here's the thing: so when Charles was made king, he got to choose his name,
Mm.
and like you, so like if you get made king, you get to choose your name, and he chose Charles the Third, and I'm like, that's so not imaginative. Like name
Mm.
yourself like King, biggest cock in the land, pleaser of all, like like a Daenerys thing. So I go through all these things in the sketch, right, right, and the whole time like it's supposed to be Murphy is sitting there and he's like, and I'm like, and it says I need to pick like an advisor, and so I pick you, and
Mhm.
and so every like name I come up with, he's like, dude, just like make it shorter. That's too long. and and then at the end, I'm disappointed because it's a fucking Nigerian email, but it's from England, not Nigeria.
Mm.
Anyway, so I made this. This is for all. So I'm recording like 4 shorts for in between all of our sketches this period,
Mhm.
this performance, and this is the right. How good is that?
What?
That's my
Hold on. Why? Why? Why the thundering gherkins?
that's
Of all the that's wait, no, that is something you'd come up with.
no,
It's just stupid and obscure enough to be funny. Uh,
it's so obscure.
it's just too thinky for other people, but just perfect for us.
Let me see if I can find it.
By the way, if my voice is like gone or cracks at all, I already hit puberty, but I watched the Raiders play yesterday, so
Uh,
yeah,
so, do you know what Thundering Gherkins is?
I know what thunder and gherkins are.
Okay, so there's. Do you know who Rowan Atkinson is?
Yeah, Mr.
Mr.
Bean.
Mr. Bean. So
Yeah.
Mr. Bean had a series called Black Adder,
Mm.
and he plays a character who is over time he is descended from. It's like one family, so he's like one person from one family, and each season is like a different time in British history.
Yeah.
So it's like medieval, and then blah blah blah, and then
Mhm.
at one point it goes to King George the Crazy, but he's Prince George at the time, and he's played by Hugh Laurie House.
Okay.
Also, the
Oh yeah, I know what it is. I know what it is. I remember you've told me about this.
he's the bug in
I know who Hugh Laurie is.
what's the movie with the Blob? Seth Rogen is the Blob.
Yeah, Monsters versus
Monsters
Aliens.
versus Aliens.
Yeah.
He's the cockroach or whatever. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I know who he is.
so he's like in his powder and his wig and he goes thundering gherkins, and I'm like,
Okay, yes, you have told me about this. I clocked that about 2 minutes ago.
I'm using. I have to finish the story. It's what I do.
Not really.
Yeah, it's what I do.
Oh, that's a great excuse.
It's not an excuse. Anywho's,
You're just special.
thank you.
No, I heard a joke today that was like, so I was shopping and I was in the line, and this lady behind me was like, "Oh, sir, I was just going to pay. Could you move aside?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And she's like, "How stupid are you?" And so she starts yelling at him for like 2 minutes straight, and 2 minutes when someone's yelling at you feels like an eternity. So at one point when she's done, like just berating this guy, he just looks her dead in the eyes, pauses for a second, and goes, "I'm going." He's like, she paid for my groceries. She walked me out the door. she, she's like, "I am so sorry," and he's like, "You are so stupid."
All
Like,
right. It's time for another pour of Old
ooh,
Tub Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey,
okay.
unfiltered, bottled
Hmm.
in bond, pre-prohibition era recipe from Jim Beam.
Hmm.
Not a sponsor, but if somehow this video ever makes its way to the people of Jim Beam Distillery,
Mm. You got some good shit.
hello, I'll take a sponsorship. Oh, I have some good news.
Yeah, because they just throw out sponsorships.
I have some good news.
Oh,
I'm going to read to you an email. Oh no. Oh god, I have more stories. I have two stories now.
okay.
Oh. What happened?
Oh, oh, wow.
Okay, did you see this?
No,
Breaking. NFL media confirms Chiefs wide receiver Justin Ross
Justin
was
Ross. Oh, yeah,
arrested Monday in Shawnee, Kansas, and is facing a felony charge of criminal damage of more than 25K. Um,
yeah, I saw that. And my only reaction is like, oh no, what a career this undrafted free agent was going to have, who wasn't even good enough to start on the Chiefs receiver room. Oh no. But I love that every tweet that I've seen about it in the comment section is just some dipshit Chiefs fan going, "Future Raider." And I'm like, Brashawn Breeland,
the
come on.
Broncos have more arrests than we do.
Yeah, so do the Chiefs. So do the Chargers. We are the least like criminal team player wise in our own division, and yet like we're the ones that get shit on, which is fine because fuck them.
Okay, so for
It's our
my
identity.
why is it doing that? Stop it! Don't do. I don't like that. Why are you doing that? Don't. Okay, so here. No. Anyway,
What a great podcast. You put on a
yeah,
great show.
I do. Um, okay, so I got this email the
Also,
other
I
day.
can't believe it took me like 5 years to get onto one of your podcasts though, because the original one that you had with the Shawns, I would always try and like be a part of and stuff, which I can kind of see now is a little stupid and maybe a bit annoying to you at one point, but like we're here now and I'm happy. I'm like your co-host.
We here, bitch. Okay,
Hmm. We made it.
so so I write for DynastyProsFootball.com,
Hmm.
and every Thursday night, my buddy Mike and I, his name is Mike Lindberg. I call him Mike Grindberg, and he should be hopping in some point tonight. He and I do a video, the weekend warm up, where we do starts and sits and injury news and all that stuff.
Hmm.
All right. So apart from DynastyProsFootball.com, I also write the AFC news for PlayerProfiler.com.
Hmm.
If you're not already following PlayerProfiler.com and you're not already going to PlayerProfiler.com to get player breakdowns and stuff for your fantasy analysis,
Hmm.
um, I write. So I'm the AFC West news desk guy.
Yeah.
So that's the Justin Ross thing. My editor was like, "Hey, can you write up the Justin Ross thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got it."
Hmm.
I did.
Sportscast.
I did Brian Hoyer this weekend. I did Greg Dulcich going on IR. I did Eckler coming back. I did, AFC West stuff. Anyway,
Did you write anything good about Hoyer?
yeah, I said start him.
Oh, I
Yeah,
did too, in fairness. And now I don't think that he needs to be in the NFL anymore.
everything everything pointed to start Brian Hoyer. Everything.
I mean, he threw 8 passes and looked pretty efficient and clearly, like, still at times has an arm. He's got the fucking Derek Carr syndrome. He can't get past his first read.
From what he did in backup duty the week before,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that he was getting the JMD seal of approval,
Right.
um,
He's my guy. I've had
and
beers with him after
he
games.
was going against the Bears, and he's got two legitimate wide receivers and a burgeoning tight end and a
Yeah.
run game that they should be able to rely on.
Mm-hmm.
Everything looked like it should have been a good game for Brian Hoyer. They've
It.
like the
Yeah.
Bears have been torched in the passing game. Everything looked good, except for the fact that Brian Hoyer sucks, and that's why he's the Raiders'
And
backup.
Josh McDaniels has never won a game as the head coach in 10 a.m. games ever in his career. He's
Okay,
like 0 and
that's
7.
anyway. So
But I'm just saying,
playerprofiler.com. It's
yeah.
a really good website. They have like all
Mhm.
kinds of good tools and everything, lots of like the injury advice. All of the
Yeah.
playerprofiler.com podcasts are really good. I got to guest with my editor who went to the same high school as Brian Hoyer in Cleveland.
Mm.
Funny enough. Um, so anyway, playerprofiler.com was started by a man who had a business. That business was creating software.
Hmm.
Somebody came in and bought his software company for like millions of dollars.
Hmm.
And he went, what do I want to do with my life? I want to start doing fantasy football podcasts. So the CEO of playerprofiler.com,
Hmm.
Matt Kelly, is like, he like all of this stuff like we're doing, it's because he like had millions and was like, I whatever I want to do, I can do. I want to do fantasy
Yeah.
football content. So
He's
anyway,
doing what I would do.
right, right.
Yeah.
He's doing what I'm doing, only with the he's got the millions backed up, and I have nothing.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
what's the news? Get to it.
okay, so
Damn.
I get this email
Hmm.
from Matt Kelly. Hey, Brendan, you're doing a great job with the news desk. By chance, are you available to chat about your role and compensation moving forward sometime next weekend? Talk to you soon. Thank you for reaching out, Matt. I would love to chat. I'm available all week except for obligations on Thursday night and Friday night. Let me know what
Hmm.
works for you. Thanks again and have a great weekend. Cool. How does next Saturday morning look for you? Other than furiously setting my week 8 lineups with emergency waiver pickups and watching my Devi players flounder, I'm free on Saturday morning. I'm
Hmm.
West Coast, but up by 7 a.m. I'm good with phone or Zoom, whatever works for you.
Hmm.
Great. How does 10:30 a.m. Eastern look for you? I will talk to you then. So they when they put out the bat signal for everybody to write, and
Hmm.
I submitted stuff, they were like, hey, we'd love for you to write for the news desk. I said, okay. They said, all right, we're having a big Zoom call for all of the people who are writing the news desks. So
Hmm.
I get in, there's like 30 people in the chat, whatever. I ask a question at the beginning, and Matt Kelly says, that's the smartest question we're going to hear all night.
Hmm.
Then a little bit later, I say something, and my editor was like, love to see the hustle. And then he keeps telling me like I'm doing an awesome job and I'm killing it and all
Hmm.
this. They're like, I'm just getting this constant like praise back. And then I get this email. Well, in that initial thing, what Matt Kelly was talking about was he hires about 50 people every year. And by the end of the year, there's usually a handful, 6 or 7 people that are left.
Hmm.
And he either brings those people on as paid contributors to Player Profiler, or he sends them out to like ESPN or like because he has connections in the
Hmm.
industry or whatever. So a lot of guys who are in like nice paid positions at other places, it's because those companies come to him and say, "Hey, who you got?" And he's like, "These guys," and they
Right.
pick and choose whatever. So he's like, "So there's an opportunity for you if you do good work and you like hustle." So I've been doing that,
Right.
and now we're a couple months in, and he's like, "I want to talk to you about compensation." I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" Yeah.
Okay.
So cheers. Good
All
story,
right.
right?
Yeah. I'm glad you finally got to it.
Right.
But I think maybe chopping off 3 minutes of that would have been ideal. No.
Hey, but
No, that's
I just got my EV Muck subscription today where I'm unlimited now. Unlimited. And I don't have to like cut it off at 2 hours. I can go as long as I want.
nice.
So yeah,
I mean, look, if you're gonna start working for ESPN, that'd be kind of cool. Um,
I wouldn't work for those bozos unless they
uh,
paid me.
let's not call them bozos on a public platform, at least until you're signed with somebody else. Never limit your options.
ESPN, you're bozos.
But he would still accept a job offer from you with open arms.
Okay. Story number two. Two.
I would accept a job offer from you with open
Duh.
arms.
Yes. All right. Story number two. So I was taking you to the airport when you were moving out of my life.
Dude, get over it. It's been 3 months.
And I came up with this idea for a sketch that's a bunch of bros having a pajama party.
Yeah.
I wrote the sketch. The sketch got
Hmm.
accepted. We're performing it. We started rehearsals last week. In the sketch, it's a bunch of bros. They're having a pajama party. And every time they go to do something, for instance, one guy is like an award winning hairstylist. So
Hmm.
they're all going to like do hair. So he plugs in the clippers, the lights go out, one guy gets murdered. Another guy grows heirloom corn. So they're going to make popcorn because it's a slumber party. They plug in the popcorn party, lights go out, dude gets murdered.
Hmm.
One of the guests is a woman, and it's obvious she's a woman with like a fake mustache. And there are lines in the show about like, have you heard about the woman who like crashes men's parties and murders all the
Yeah.
men to subvert the patriarchy? Okay, so we had one woman cast as the murderer, but the murderer is actually a MacGuffin. She's not the murderer; it's somebody
Hmm.
else. And at the very end of the stage, at the very end of the show or the sketch, the lights go down, and the actual murderer comes out of the kitchen, tiptoes across the stage, and says, like mocking the lines that the guys repeat, "Oh my God, there's been a murder. Who could it have been? Should we call the
Yeah.
police?" And then she goes,
Yeah, it's
"Fucking
been a
men,
murder.
fucking men," and she like walks off stage, right?
Hmm.
So we're going through the first rehearsal, we're blocking and everything, and we get the idea, hey, how about when she walks off stage, I'm the last guy standing. It's me and the other man, the
Hmm.
plant, and I'm like, how about they murder me and walk off stage? Okay, so we had both those cast. Well, the woman who was cast as the the guy disguise originally
Hmm.
is had to back out of the show. So the woman who was the real murderer is now the decoy person, the MacGuffin character.
Hmm.
There was one other woman at rehearsal, and we were like, how about you do it? All you have to do is at the end walk across the stage like you're trying to sneak out of the house, stop, turn to the audience, mock the men. Oh my
Yeah.
God, there's been a murder. Fucking men. And
Hmm.
then stab me, and then walk off stage. She did it 8 times and never got it right.
Okay.
This is the woman that in the robot sketch I had to like pick up, who told me, If you need any help, just look at me. If you're gonna drop a line, I'm like,
Hmm.
bitch, I don't drop lines. So we got to the point where, like, after the fourth or fifth time she screwed it up, I was like, Therese, watch me, follow me, tiptoe across the stage, stop, turn to the audience. Oh my God, there's been a murder. Could it have been one of us? Should we call the police? Fucking men. Stab, 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 and walk off stage. Now you go. And she didn't get it right.
Hmm.
Again, Murphy and I are sitting there just like, She just sent me a text. Hi, Brandon.
Great way
Can
to start.
can you send me the script or at least the last page? Thanks. The last text that I sent her, the murderer walks off the stage mocking the bros. Oh my God, there's been a murder. Who could it be? One of us fucking men.
Stab,
That's
stab,
her.
stab.
That's her whole part.
Yeah.
I already texted it to her in the text before, and it's right there.
Hmm.
She opened up that text to text me and call me Brandon.
Hmm.
Her part is already right there. And she still asked me, can you send it to me? No! It's already right there!
Okay.
Fucking Therese. Let's start the show.
Yeah.
Fantasy Burn. Oh, that was my fault. I need a producer.
Yeah, we
So,
established that last episode.
did Rebecca send you the pictures of the train thing that we did the other day?
I saw one picture of a train.
It was awesome. Like, we went on a train
It
and
was
it,
just
like,
you and your bottomless mimosa. You look so happy with yourself. It was like the dog with a toy. You were just like, "Yay!"
well, okay, so we're like, we get on this train
Hmm.
and it's like, so when you're going to the airport, it's between Woodland and the airport, so you like get off
Mm.
before the rest stop, and then there, like, you get on this train,
Yeah.
and then the train goes along the river, along the levee road into like Sac. It stops and then turns around and comes back, and there's like four bar cars on the train. So
Hmm.
like you pay for your drinks in advance, and then you like get on the train and you drink like while you're going, and it's like 2 hours. So like most of the bar tickets and tokens, whatever, like you can get like 4 beers or 4 cocktails or whatever. And I
Hmm.
was like, I don't need a limit. Like, fucking let me cook. So I was like, give me the unlimited mimosas. Well,
Yeah.
the best thing about it is that the unlimited mimosas bar was the no line bar. so,
Mm.
so we just posted up right next to it. It was like,
Yeah.
finish one, get up, get another one, sit down,
Yeah.
finish. I got through like 8 or something.
No,
I
that
don't.
that seriously, that reminds me of like every time, you know how like in school everybody except for me, because I wasn't cool enough to have a birthday not in May, they would always celebrate their birthdays. Someone would bring in like cupcakes or whatever, maybe the teacher would, and they would have like the whole thing out for the kids, right?
Yeah.
Everybody immediately rushed for the chocolate, and then there's me with like 5 vanilla cupcakes in my hand, and I'm like, I love this. This is amazing for me. I'm
Every
living my best life. I learned to love vanilla because everybody else loves chocolate.
well, everybody should know vanilla is much better than chocolate.
Well, sure, but also like I didn't think that when I was 8 years old, but as soon as I was like, wait, I can have 5 vanilla cupcakes to everybody's one chocolate, hell yeah.
Right.
And maybe that's why I'm 300 pounds. That'll be part of it.
I'm working on it. All
No,
right.
I have dropped like 30 pounds since I've been here. So I don't know if you can see it in my face, but
Yes.
are you for real or no?
Yes.
I'm trying, okay?
It's the bet. Don't
Sure.
take it.
I
Don't take
I
it
know
personally.
you're committing to it. I'm
All
committing
right.
to the bit of letting people say fat jokes about me.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't allow that.
Only if they're funny. If they're not funny, I'll be offended. But if they're like, if there's a no, I'll give you that one. That's fine.
What have I done? Is this gonna be
Anyway,
working?
let's fucking start the show already
I'm
without starting the intro.
trying. I'm trying.
Do or do not, there is no try. Let's get into the does. I've got like 3 already lined up.
All right. Hang on. I can't
Yeah,
even. I don't even.
you know, it'd be great is if you had a producer.
Right?
Yeah,
I need a producer.
maybe
All right.
get Matt Kelly to do it. What's
That
he do with his free time?
no, he has a producer.
Yeah, get his producer then. Just be like, don't worry about the compensation. Give me your producer.
And your viewers.
Yeah, have him shout you out.
What am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't even.
I'll shout out on my Twitter.
Okay. Duh. Travis Kelsey was the
Yeah.
number one fantasy football producer with 35.9 points
Mm-hmm,
in my home dynasty league.
mm,
We all knew that was coming. He had 179 yards receiving
yeah.
on 13 targets, 12 receptions, and only one touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
In sleep in okay, in sleeper, it says he's rostered on 99.7% of leagues. And,
What is the .3?
okay, so the point three, I'm pretty sure is
No
league.
tight end leagues.
Uh, yes, well, no, because
Oh.
he'd be a wide receiver one. It's so like my only quarterbacks league. Um,
Mm.
I have another league that's like only rookies. So like
Yeah.
probably 0.3% of sleeper leagues are like that, and he's not
Mm.
rushed. Still, it's just an alarming number. And then a little further research, and by that I mean looking down to the next person, Patrick Mahomes is also rostered 99.7% of people. So it stands to reason that it's like, although in my only quarterback league, I do have Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. That could also be like AFC West leagues that are just like, nah, we're Chargers fans all in here. Fuck the Chiefs. We're not drafting any Chiefs.
Something like that.
Anything, any number of things.
All right, so that's my first duh. Who do you have for your first duh?
Josh McDaniels. This is kind of my duh, and
Yeah.
but this is my duh with the asterisks of even I should have seen it. Um, yeah, you can play it.
Play what?
The duh. Don't you have a duh sound effect?
No.
Oh, anyway,
Oh,
duh.
you mean this shit. You mean this one?
Yeah, that's kind of been the last 28 games that Josh McDaniels has coached. Have just been that. Like I said before, hasn't won a game at 10 a.m. in his career. He's like 0-7. Uh, here's the thing, really. And this is not even just a one-time thing. It's a track record at this point. He lost to Baker Mayfield, who had 3 days to learn the system. He lost to Jeff Saturday, who prior to coaching in like his one and only or however many games it was NFL coaching debut, he had never coached above the high school level in his life and was like a sports commentator at that point. Lost to him in embarrassing fashion. He then now just yesterday, after a season of giving up six games that he was winning in by halftime, he just lost to a Division II athlete who was an undrafted free agent by the Chicago Bears, whose coach is Matt Eberflus, who outcoached him.
Okay,
Like,
keep going.
how did I not see this? I just
Um,
had so much faith.
right, and I did too. But
Yeah.
keep going.
Okay. Because that's all I can really think of from last year. Like, I'm not even going to get into the Jaguars game. I put the Cardinals game last year more on Renfro than anybody. Like, I'm not going to get into free agent stuff because I think for the most part, outside of a few guys, it's pretty much been on Ziegler and he's done fine. I'm actually still a fan of Ziegler. I think he's got a good idea of what he's doing. It's literally just this coach.
Okay, I'm going to address Bajent for 1 second.
Go ahead.
Right now, this is from our DynastyProsFootball.com starts and
Mm.
sits, which for some reason didn't get posted this week. We did all
Oh,
the work
wow.
with none of the payoff. Anyway,
Hmm.
quarterback Division two quarterbacks can be successful.
Yeah, I mean, he
You,
he broke the NCAA all-time passing touchdown record.
UC Davis and Jets ledge Ken O'Brien,
Mm.
Carson Wentz,
Hmm.
Joe Flacco, Jimmy G, Ryan Fitzmagic, Roethlisberger, Romo, Phil Simms, Steve McNair, Kurt Warner, all were Division two quarterbacks. And you know
Okay.
all their names. Tyson Bagent is not any different. The
Okay.
difference is that he, in December, threw 2 interceptions against the Colorado School of Mines.
Yes. Yes. That was what Michael Strahan was talking about in the NFL kickoff. That was like it was the biggest. It was if the Colts and Browns game did not happen, our game was the biggest. Like what the fuck of the entire day.
My girlfriend,
Hmm.
who you know, Rebecca, works with
Oh,
people
that girlfriend. Okay.
who are graduates of the Colorado School of Mines. It's for engineers. It's an
Hmm.
engineering school. Okay, I graduated from a Division two university. Hashtag go Wonder Boys.
Yeah.
But the Colorado School of Mines, it's engineers. These
Hmm.
guys are out there, and Tyson Bagent threw 2 interceptions. He did not throw 2 interceptions against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah. It
Hmm.
takes four of them to figure out how a field goal is even made.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's the worst part of it. Is that like again, I'm happy for Tyson Bagent. David actually, when he heard his last name, was like, "Oh my God, is that what is it? Tyler Bagent's kid or whatever his name is, the 19-time arm wrestling champion."
Yeah.
Yeah, and David was like, "I know a weird amount about that sport," and I was like, "I can tell you're like freaking out about
Over the
this."
top. Over the top.
And I was like, he starts freaking out. He's like, "Oh my God, that's his kid. He's so much skinnier than him." And he's like, his dad is like a known shit talker, and again, 19-time champion. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, Tyson Bagent's kind of talking shit to us. He's like riling up the fans, giving us some shit, and like I'm happy for him. If his start was against literally any other team, I'm like the biggest fan of this guy, and I am a big fan of him. Literally doesn't even have his picture on Madden. I looked him up, and he literally does not have his face picture on Madden. He's a
I
52 rated quarterback.
I'd be a much bigger fan if we didn't face them this year.
Yeah,
All
no,
right.
even if we did face him, as at so long as it wasn't that bad of a loss, I just that yeah, that's one of my does is that McDaniels is not the guy. I signed the petition to get him fired. I doubt it really works, but I signed it regardless. Like I went into the season being optimistic. Maybe he just needed his guys. Seems like he got a fair fucking amount of them, and it seems like his system doesn't work. No one likes the Patriot way. No one
I
likes how boring this has been.
I don't know if you watched TDL's instant reaction, but
Yes.
they were they tweeted getting ready, and I was like, "Oh, great! I can't really I can't wait to relive this game as soon as possible."
I didn't watch it until this morning because I was like, I'm just
Right.
gonna need to like sit on this one for a bit.
I watched it late last night. Um, but they made such a great point about how every fucking thing that McZiegler has done, all the
No, no,
choices
no,
that they have made,
McDaniel's, just
McZiegler.
him.
No, because Dave
You
Ziegler
think
is the general manager. He's
right, but
making decisions too. And
okay, so
everything
so
that
you don't think it's like a 51-49 split?
no,
Okay.
the point that they made was that the what this regime has done since they
Hmm.
came in, every single thing that they've done has backfired. Everything. Every player that they've signed, every contract that they let go, every player that they traded away, every they extended Carr and Waller and then fucking like didn't
Right.
retain them.
Yeah.
They
Same with Renfro.
they made the Jacobs thing play out instead of
Yeah.
giving him the preseason snaps. They're fucking up with Renfro.
Well, look at it.
Like
Look at Jacobs now.
the only thing, yeah, he got me
Mhm.
8 points in the fishbowl, which is like RB premium. Like they're fucking him up. The offensive line is terrible. They have not built the offensive line, and I'm an older person. You can see the gray in my beard.
Sure.
A football team starts with the offensive line. Look at all the talent in Washington. The offensive line takes them out of every game that the defense keeps them in.
Hmm.
Every time you have a terrible offensive line, the team is going to suck. Period.
Yeah.
Period. Defense wins championship. Whatever.
Yeah. Whatever.
It's the everything starts and ends with the offensive line. The offensive line needs to create holes for the running backs and protect the
Hmm.
quarterback. That's it. And
Yeah.
The Raiders can't do either of those two things. On top of that, you
Didn't
have
allow us
the
back last
defensive
game,
line. You have the
but
defensive line. Everybody wants to talk about quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, defensive backs, whatever. Nobody
mhm,
talks about offensive and defensive lines. Everything starts in the middle with the
yeah,
lines.
in the
The
trenches.
Raiders couldn't stop the run. Max Crosby made the statement, we knew that they were going to hand off and throw screens. They
Yeah.
knew the game plan going into the game and they couldn't stop it, knowing what they were going to do. That's a
Hmm.
fucking problem. They
Right.
can't stop the run. 4.7 yards per carry.
Hmm.
Deontay Foreman, fourth highest fantasy scorer this week. That's
Yeah.
I haven't
32
even gotten
points.
to that yet. I haven't even
Hmm.
gotten to that yet. He's
No,
not
we'll,
even my
we'll
number two.
we'll get there. I
But
knew.
that's the
Look.
problem.
Yes.
It's all about the hogs in the middle, and the Raiders have neither. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Nichols. I love the Raiders' defensive line,
Yeah.
but somehow this Chicago Bears offensive line got them off the ball, let
Hmm.
them do what they wanted, and Deontay Foreman ate,
Yeah.
and
We missed 14 tackles.
it just it
Four of which
was
were from Marcus
horrible.
Peters. Yeah. No, it was this I've been saying this since the end of the game yesterday. That was by far and away amongst any team, any game that I've watched in however many years at this point, I forget. Um, however many years I've been watching football games, be it seriously or just like on the offhand, whatever, like I'd watch a game with you. This is the worst game I have ever seen a team play in my life, and it was just horrible. Like
It,
up
it,
until
it
Aiden came into the game, I had no fun. Up
Unfortunately,
until
it wasn't even the worst Raiders game in the last couple of years.
and I
Since
and I'm sure of that. I'm sure that you can recall one, but I myself have never seen a worse performance from the Raiders or any team.
I mean,
Even
the
when we
last
got
time they played Chicago, the last two times they've played Atlanta, I mean,
yeah,
there have been games
there's been some bad
this
games. There's been
bad
bigger blowouts.
within
We've lost
worse.
worse games, but I'm saying in terms of what the expectation was, everybody, Raiders fan or not, had us beating the Bears. Every single
Oh my God! I'm sorry,
Addison,
Jordan Addison
yeah,
just took a pick away and
hmm,
took it to the house. Kirk Cousins got destroyed,
yes,
and Addison still pulled it and took it to the house. Anyway,
No, Addison's gonna have 60 catches, 20 of which are touchdowns. It's crazy. Um,
so
he's weird, but I continue. Um, this should have been a duh from last year. This really should have been. This was the worst that I think it could possibly get this year, to the point of I don't really see a winnable game the rest of the year. And literally just last week, I was like, you know what? We're an 8-win team. We could beat the Colts. We could beat the Broncos. We could beat the Chargers maybe like this game at home. Maybe we take it to the Chiefs in like just a random game where like their defense isn't top 10. I was convincing myself, and now I'm in the mindset of like, oh fuck, we have to face the Dolphins and the Chiefs twice. We still have to face the Jets and the Lions next week, who are coming off of an embarrassing loss and are gonna be out for blood. Like, this next game might be the worst loss of our season. This might just be Dan Campbell being like, literally kill them. Like, just go ahead and wreak havoc. And, in my head, I've been hyping it up as the Mayor versus Laporta showdown. I'm pretty sure this is our Halloween game, right? Something like that. It's
yeah,
Yeah, the day before Halloween. So it's like Michael Mayer is supposed to be like the guy that game, whatever, just for the jokes and the memes of it all. I've been trying to like really figure out an excuse, and I have nothing left. He's it's either all on McDaniels or it's like the team is just not that good. And I've seen this team this very season play good football. We played it against the Packers. We played it against the Patriots. We've
we
played
didn't
good.
play it against the Packers. We won the game, but we didn't play it, and that's part of the problem. Okay, so
Sorry. Okay, so sorry, the defense has played good football against the Packers. Meek Robertson had the touchdown. We've held now like the Chargers, Patriots, and Packers to below 20 points. That's like pretty good per the Raiders standard. Maybe it's not like league standard, but for us that's pretty damn good. We're not 32nd against the pass anymore, which is a massive step up. That's how you win in today's game. The problem is that McDaniels with the offense is single-handedly shooting us in the foot to not give the defense a chance. And it's weird because we were saying the exact opposite last year, and it was like the defense is shooting itself in the foot and not giving the offense a chance. Like, if you give last year's team this year's defense, I think we're a good football team. It is the weirdest fucking thing. Our offense without a quarterback is just anemic as shit and predictable,
right.
and we're not going to start winning because of it. And at this point, I'm like, why would we even try to win any more games? Why wouldn't we try and go for a top 3 pick? I'm all for the tank. Fuck it.
Oh,
Burn
of
it all
course.
down.
Yeah.
I'm in it for Drake May. I swear to God, if Drake May, if the AFC West next year, quarterback wise, is Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Drake May / Russell Wilson, and either Jimmy Garoppolo or like some fucking random guy in like the second or third round that has just like no talent and is just a McDaniels pick, I'm done being a fan. Like, it's
Well, okay,
not
that
really,
kind
but
of
you know what I mean.
that plays into what I'm trying to say about
Okay.
like it all starts with the hogs in the middle, right? So you have Patrick Mahomes, and I'm going to be the first person to say that Patrick Mahomes is not a great quarterback that elevates the players around him. However,
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback who does can do more with less.
Yes.
So Patrick Mahomes is not going to make Marquez Valdez Scantling great. But if
No
Patrick
one
Mahomes
can.
has a shit ass offensive line,
Hmm.
he's going to escape the pocket, work
Yes.
off platform, find Travis Kelsey,
Yeah.
find Tyreek Hill, do those things. That's why they're
Hmm.
6-1, right? If you don't have an offensive line, you have to have Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs now
Right.
have an offensive line and Patrick Mahomes. So
Hmm.
fuck them. The
And they don't have
Chargers
and they don't have receivers.
the Chargers don't have an offensive line.
Right.
Justin Herbert is not Patrick Mahomes. The Raiders don't have an offensive line. They need to draft Patrick Mahomes. All right, let me share this with you real quick. Let me see if it's going to be on the screen.
Okay. And I have more comments and everything about this. I'm not going to take up too much time. I still have more does.
The
Um,
worst part about this whole Bears debacle is
yes.
that it was coming off of two straight wins
Yes.
to
With a
make
chance to
us
be
three
three.
and three, and things were looking
4 and
up.
3.
And this meme came out right at that time. Right at that
Hmm.
time, and oh fuck, you're gonna make me light the beam is my favorite
Yeah.
Sacramento Kings meme.
Hmm.
All of these Riley Reid memes are my
Oh, they're
absolute favorite.
hilarious.
They're so good.
They're the
And this
best.
this one came out like right at the right time for me to fucking believe again.
Same
And
here. I would,
and then we played the fucking Bears.
and
And
like the problem is for me at this point, I'm like, uh, specifically with Tape Don't Lie, they were talking about how Brian Hoyer is better than Jimmy. I don't think he's better than any quarterback in the league at this point. He was so bad. Like,
well, he
beyond 10 yards, his accuracy and completion percentage was dog shit. He completed, I think it was like 0 passes beyond 10 yards or something the entire
right,
game.
but the week before that, he showed that he could open up the offense. He hit Trey Tucker deep for
And he
one.
did.
He, he was 6 of 10 for 102 yards in
Hmm.
backup duty, and then in the first half of this game against the Bears,
Yeah.
he didn't do shit, which
And
is
so,
which is what I thought the Bears secondary was going to do in week 1. They haven't
mhm,
been able to do. So it's like all of these things that I thought were going to happen didn't
right,
happen. All of these things that I had given up on actually fucking came to fruition for the first time ever
right.
because they're playing my Raiders.
Yes.
He couldn't find Trey Tucker. Devontae Adams was dropping balls. It was
Michael Mayer was
just
wide open and
a
not getting
fucking
thrown the ball.
yeah, and I can't wait for the TDL. Like he said, he was going to find Michael Mayer running down the seam open because
He did it
everybody.
twice.
I know,
He did
and
it fucking twice. He was
it's
wide open, and Hoyer would not get his fucking eyes off the left side of the field. And the one time that he threw to Mayer was when he was on the left side of the field.
right,
And so here's the thing about specifically the quarterback play, because the rest of why we're a bad football team right now, that's one thing. But specifically for the quarterbacks, I think the best one is still Aiden, regardless of how bad he may have been playing.
right. And O'Connell comes in and does what?
He
Throws a
throws an
touchdown.
interception and then he throws a touchdown.
Fuck you, like fuck you, Josh McDaniels. My favorite thing yesterday in
Yeah.
the second slate, the 1 o'clock
Hmm.
games, was that McDumbass was trending on Twitter,
Yes.
along with along with Fire McDaniels.
Yes, and Mark Davis, but no, like the problem for me with not starting Aiden this game is that if so obviously after the Chargers game, McDaniels was like putting a lot more of the blame on Aiden than maybe he should have. And at this point, I don't even watch his press conferences because he's just a shit talker that doesn't take accountability. But he did a lot of that, and he started talking about the wrong things that Aiden is doing. And I'm like, that's probably very encouraging to your 25-year-old quarterback who just had
Yeah.
his first start.
Oh no, he
Like,
threw him under the bus, and it was
he
fucking
threw him
horseshit.
completely under the bus. And then when it comes to Hoyer, and it was the question of like, why did you start him? Will this be the thing going forward? He's like, well, like I still think that it was the right choice. No, no, because the Chargers and their defense, sure, Khalil Mack had a career game, which you can't really like. You can't watch tape for that. You can't really take account for it. And even though they said they double teamed him, I think I read a stat that was like they did 3 times the entire game.
Well, okay,
And
so
so,
he says like we tried and it
yeah,
didn't
they
happen,
didn't.
which puts it on the players. It didn't. And then he said something about like we were in zone coverage, we were
Hmm.
in man coverage. They weren't. They fucking weren't.
They weren't.
And you have the head coach saying one thing and the players
Yes.
saying another, and it's like, okay,
There's
you
a clear miscommunication, or just someone's not getting the message.
no, no, it's
Okay.
that when it comes to accountability, Josh McDaniels has none.
Oh, I
In
see.
his post game press conference, he basically sat there and said, "Yeah, everything I did was right. It was part of
Hmm.
the game plan." He
There are
never
better.
took
There are things.
accountability for the fact that he didn't adjust the game plan. He didn't go to
Yes.
Aiden O'Connell soon enough. He stuck
Hmm.
with Brian Hoyer too long. All of those things.
Yeah.
Like, he never fucking came out and said,
Hmm.
"Look, I fucked up." He never did that.
No.
He never did that. Everything that he said was, we put our best out there. We tried this and this and that. None of it
Everything is well,
was fucking true.
complimentary football. Players needed to execute better. There are things that we need to learn. He says we as if he means me and the team. He literally just means the team because
Right.
he didn't understand.
And the same going back to the Chargers game where O'Connell throws that pick, and it was like, that's a terrible fucking play call.
Yes.
You're in the earpiece of the quarterback for 15 seconds. You
Yes.
tell him, look, you've got Jacobs. He's gonna fucking, like,
Hmm.
Jacobs is going to chip the guy on the left side, turn to your right. If you don't see anybody open, go back to your left, because like, those are things that the head coach or the offensive coordinator need to be in the ear of the quarterback with, especially if he's a rookie.
Yes.
And they didn't. And
Help him out.
O'Connell
Instead,
comes back and he fucking stares down Jacoby Myers the whole time, and it becomes an interception when Josh Jacobs would have cleared and gotten open for an absolute touchdown on the other side.
yes.
That's terrible coaching. That's
Uh,
not bad quarterback play. That's
no.
terrible coaching.
And of course, it's not bad quarterback play because we were only in that position because Aiden made a great fucking throw to Adams on the sideline. I
Yeah,
give full
it's
credit to Aiden and everything that he's been doing. He had his first NFL touchdown. Yeah, he has two interceptions, one of which ended the game. I don't really blame it on him.
no.
Communication and shitty play calling. He has three turnovers from the fumbles. I don't think that he is as bad of a turnover guy in terms of the context as somebody like Kirk Cousins, who has cost his
Twice
team games because of it.
twice this season, Josh McDaniels has kicked field goals after not going for it
After
on fourth down
consecutive,
when he went for it on fourth down before.
yes, went for it on fourth, got
Why
it.
did you do that if you're just gonna fucking kick a field goal anyway? And
But in
what?
fairness, if you've got a free drive, you have four more plays to score a touchdown. It's not like that was in the last 2 minutes. I'm in full agreement, by the way. I think it was stupid, but
You're down
I
two
can understand
touchdowns.
from his
What makes you
perspective.
think that your defense is going to stop this juggernaut of an offense with Tyson Bagent?
Well, yeah, I mean, at this point, I think it's kind of being revealed to the public that the Bears are the best team in football.
So
I
real,
think that's the only explanation.
it's yes. So
I'm not coping.
I like millions of others
Mhm.
stayed dialed in to the Browns Colts game
Oh
from
yeah.
kickoff to the very end.
Hmm.
And in my dynasty home league, I have two Colts fans,
Yeah.
and they got to watch as the entire game
The
as
worst
their
coaching,
Colts
or sorry, the
lost
worst
by
calls.
1 point, somehow scoring 38 points on the best defense in the history of football.
Hmm.
At the same time, because it was a 10 a.m. game,
Yeah.
I'm watching my team, the Las Vegas Raiders, against the Chicago Bears. And
Yeah.
you know me, I shut my laptop off. I had the Raiders game on my laptop. I had the fucking four
Yeah.
box on my TV with one of them as the red zone. That was the audio. I'm
Yeah.
listening to every fucking red zone thing. I'm
Hmm.
watching three other games, and I'm watching the Raiders. I think the only game I was missing was like the Chiefs or something like that. I think they were early. Some
Yeah.
other
Okay.
early game I was
You
missing.
knew the Chiefs were going to win.
And at a certain point, I was just like, chink, and I just shut my laptop. Fuck this. I'm not watching the Raiders. I'll like catch up. You've seen me do that before when you were in
Yes.
the room, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not even going to watch this anymore. That was one of those games. Is
Hmm.
like, I've seen it middle of the second quarter. I've seen enough. I've seen
It,
enough.
it was it was what's sad is that I did the same thing. I turned off the game. I was like, well, apparently the Colts are kicking the shit out of the Browns. They're going to win this. Little did I know they'd be the worst refs ever. But I turned it off when I think it was what is it? I think it was after like Hoyer. It wasn't the first interception because that was earlier in the game, but I basically okay, I turned the game off, and then not even 2 minutes later, I go on Red Zone and we're watching all the other stuff, and then I see a highlight on Red Zone of Brian Hoyer throwing a pick six. I turned it off before I even saw that, and then I went back to it. I went back to the game knowing that Aiden was coming on. Like, that's enough. You're okay, Brian. You're done forever, hopefully,
Right.
only to see Aiden throw another interception. And like, God damn it. And then he redeemed himself. And I
But
was like, thank you.
McDaniel said that Garoppolo is going to be back. Like, look, you don't have a fucking
No, he
quarterback
didn't.
that can stay healthy, who is
No.
good. Then you have Brian Hoyer, who is fucking absolute garbage. You have a rookie
Yes.
who just let him play out the season and see how he does,
Right.
and you're
Like,
still
just because
gonna.
you paid Garoppolo doesn't mean that you need to keep him in if he's playing like that. You did the same thing to Carr. Why aren't you benching this guy?
It's
Um,
terrible.
I know, and my biggest problem with the O'Connell situation is that we all clearly know that it's not that Aiden O'Connell right now is not, like, objectively so, is not a better or as experienced quarterback as Jimmy Garoppolo in theory,
He's better.
and yet
He's
I
not more
guarantee
experienced.
that he would play better in this system with the hype and with the belief from everybody on the team. He would play better if we started him throughout the rest of the year. And this is a point I was trying to make earlier in the discussion. You start him against the Chargers, a standard defense. I'm not going to say it's good or bad. It's just kind of okay. It's just there. It exists. Divisional game, I can see that it would be a little bit more pressing for him to play bad then. If he plays bad against the Bears, then you have a better understanding of who he is. But if he plays good, you still have a chance to be like, yeah, but it's the Bears. But also, that's a pretty fucking cool thing. It's like our rookie quarterback versus theirs. And really the problem with McDaniels is that their draft class so far, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it, was my other does that this class is actually now reaching fine to good status. You have a draft class that you are basically relying and hedging your bets on looking good in order to keep yourself in, like, employed with the team. You have all the opportunity to go, hey, if Aiden looks good, be like, guess what? We're the fuckers that drafted him. That was our choice. We saw something in him. We're geniuses. Keep us on. We know what we're doing. You have that opportunity. You're already seeing Tyree and Mayer, and even at this point Trey Tucker, it's another duh, but not really. Starting to look a whole hell of a lot better.
Except those are all pieces that require the offense to be working as a unit and doing what it's supposed to do, and it's not. So it doesn't
Exactly.
matter how often Michael Mayer can get open. It doesn't matter how often
It
Trey
doesn't.
Tucker can take the cap off the defense.
Hmm.
None of those things matter if the fucking quarterback can't throw the ball to the people that he's supposed to be throwing it to. It's not gonna matter if the defense can't get the fucking team off the field and put the offense
Right.
out there.
Which is why you start the rookie. Because at the very least, if he looks anything like a starting quarterback, anything impressive for a fourth round
He's
pick,
already done better than
yes.
Hoyer and fucking Garoppolo. He's already done that.
And that's why I'm trying to say we should start him because,
We
I mean,
knew
look, as
that.
much,
That
yes,
wasn't even a question.
it wasn't. But the thing about it, no, what confuses me is that he's not starting him. You have the opportunity to say, I
Right.
got this guy in the draft. I saw
Except
something
that it's
special.
Josh McDaniels, and he said in his press
Exactly.
conference, I felt it was better to go with the veteran. He
And
like,
he's a
and
dumbass for that.
we that's why when Aiden O'Connell started his start, it
Hmm.
was surprising that he went that, and not a surprise at all that
Right.
Hoyer started this game. Okay,
But so that's why I
no, we're done.
okay.
Gotta move. We gotta move
No,
on.
of course. That was almost 20 minutes on just mine. But
We
I
and
just
we and we could have gone for another hour. All right,
just no, just I just want one more. I
no,
please,
no,
please, please.
no. Quarterback one.
It'll be so quick.
Quarterback one this week. Duh, Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
33.9 points in my home league. Let's look at what he did for me in my quarterback only league, the
Hmm.
Bass Bash, sponsored by Chuck Bass. 85.06 points. I'm getting 34 and a half right now from Kirk Cousins. I had
Hmm.
41.57 from Ritter. I had 25.77 from Stafford. CJ Stroud had a bye, so I didn't get any. I went against a guy who had Prescott and Tannehill on buys, and I'm outscoring him at this point 186.89 to
Yeah,
140.46, so almost 50 points ahead of him, and that's with Kirk Cousins still playing.
good
I'm
old Kirk
second
Cousins.
second in the league. I am going into the week. I was about 45 points in total points scored behind at HooveTube on Twitter, and
Hmm.
it looks like Hoove is going to win. So we're still going to be 1-2. Like he's one, I'm two in that all quarterback league. But yeah, Patrick Mahomes, 33.9, 424 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns. He only threw 1 interception, so that's him taking care of the ball.
Yep.
Most of that was to Travis Kelsey and one of my Dynasty Pros Football.com starts of the week, Rashee Rice. So
Oh,
if you guys if you viewer aren't also following me on Dynasty Pros Football.com YouTube channel
is there
for
someone
the
in here?
weekend warm up, and nope, and,
Oh,
and looking at my Substack, I had Deontay Foreman in my Substack. I actually
yeah.
posted about that earlier. Let me see if
Hmm.
I can get to where is it? My starts were Deontay Foreman,
Hmm.
Jackson Smith and Jigba, Curtis
Yeah.
Samuel. Curtis Samuel was he was in the flex conversation,
He's
and
been really good this year.
Brian Hoyer. That's
Yeah,
because Jahan Dotson has sucked, and everybody thought that Jahan Dotson was going to be great, including myself. But I've been like
he should
pounding
be.
Curtis Samuel.
We,
Um,
we we were literally talking about this at one point in like the start of the year that there was like an over under thing for like basically prior to the season over unders. We talked about Richardson, Alec Pierce, and we got to Jahan Dotson, and his was like 600 receiving yards, higher, lower, whatever. And I was like, that's a safe bet. Take 600 yards right now. We're
right,
looking for a breakout campaign. I said the same thing about Anthony Richardson,
right.
uh,
Okay, so
which I couldn't take into account, by the
we
way.
talk a
But
lot in the fantasy analyst space
hmm.
about good process versus bad results.
Hmm.
If you apply good process enough times, you will overcome bad results. So, good process is draft Anthony Richardson. Bad results is AR goes out for the year.
Hmm.
So,
He'll
when
be
we do
fine.
the starts and sits and streams and all that stuff, we use good process. For example, the number one worst defense against quarterbacks this season was the Chicago Bears. Start Brian Hoyer. Bad luck or
I
bad.
swear to God, Hoyer is the worst quarterback in the NFL.
All right, but we're not talking about that. Okay,
No, no, we're done with Raiders for now.
okay. So Patrick Mahomes, duh.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, my
Hmm.
Scott Fishbowl 13 quarterback,
Yeah.
33.9 points, tied with Patrick Mahomes my in my home league. Unfortunate part is that I was going against him.
Right.
The traditional worst team in the league, I just lost to. Sam Howell didn't help, but here's the thing: in this dynasty league, I have Tyreek Hill, and
Ooh.
today I've had a couple of offers for him over the last few weeks, and
Yeah.
I said if I lose 2 games, and then by week 10 I'm gonna trade Tyreek.
Hmm.
This is the first of those losses, but I lost to the worst team in the league,
Hmm.
who had his best scoring output in 3 years.
Hmm.
So I put Tyreek Hill on the trading block. I'm already sitting on 3 offers. Um,
Oh yeah.
so anyway, he had Lamar Jackson in this league. I had Lamar Jackson in the fishbowl, which I it didn't really benefit me at all. Anyway,
Right.
let me track down some of these offers. So, Ty- Tyreek Hill for Jake Musgrave.
Luke Musgrave.
Sorry, Luke Musgrave, uh, Jordan Love, and uh, early second round 2024. Tyreek Hill straight up for 2025 first round, or Tyreek Hill
Yeah.
and Daryl Henderson, who I picked up on waivers this week, for DK Metcalf, Nico Collins, and a late 2026 first round. So
I
those
would take that. I would take that in a heartbeat.
I like DK. I have Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Sure.
Jackson Smith and Jigba broke out this week because DK Metcalf was hurt.
Right.
I can't have those two together. I need to get a piece that I can. I am Tyreek Hill is the top scoring player in fantasy football this year. That's what I'm giving up. I
Right.
need to get that back. I'm
You
not
also
getting that
get a first round pick.
in 2026. That's
Oh,
3 rookie drafts from now.
never mind.
I can't wait that long.
No,
If
you
I'm
can't.
giving up the number one, and Tyreek somehow is not going to be hurt next year. I see his decline coming in 25, 26, unless he suffers a major injury in the next couple years, which isn't out of the question, but we're talking about Tyreek Hill here. He's never suffered a serious injury. There's something about
Yeah.
the guy. He is the number one scoring player in fantasy football at the moment. I need to replace that
I think
be,
with
beginning in 2024. Whether
yes.
that means Marvin Harrison
Sure.
Jr. or like somebody has
Yeah.
to replace that scoring. DK Metcalf isn't going to do it. I love
No.
Nico Collins,
I mean,
and I
Marvin
and I
Harrison
can't
on the
wait.
Colts is going to feel so good. Being coached up by Reggie Wayne, who's probably known him since he was 2 years old. Like, holy shit, that's going to feel.
Coached up by his dad, Marvin Harrison.
Oh, is he one of the wide receiver coaches?
No, but who the fuck raises their kids? The
I mean,
dads.
sure, but that's why he's so good. And then he's gonna be like, "Oh, what's up, Reg?"
It's the reason why you were so good at baseball.
So the only reason that I think that there's a realistic possibility of them getting Harrison Jr. is the fact that A, his dad played for the Colts. B, Michael Pittman is on a contract year, and as opposed to signing him, if they're bad enough this year, they'll go and get a guy who is easily going to be better for cheaper and on a rookie contract that isn't up for 4 years with an option to extend. This is a terrible year for free agent wide receivers. It's a
There-
terrible year because
okay,
of how
so
good this receiver class is going to be.
so the way
Like
that the
Pittman's gone.
the way that the running back market has changed over the years,
Mhm.
the wide receiver market is about to go through a transition
Mhm.
where you have every team with 4 guys
Yeah.
who are that capable.
Mhm.
And what we're starting to see is guys like Jahan Dotson, Alec
Mhm.
Pierce, guys of that level, that caliber, Mac Hollins,
Mhm.
Van Jefferson, they go to the Falcons. that they're not going to do anything. You have these
Right.
teams where you have four guys across the line who all are similarly capable of being
Yeah.
absolute stud wide receivers because of 7-on-7 football,
I'm
the
aware of all this, by the
the
way.
cachet of becoming a wide receiver. This is for
Yeah.
the viewer, bro.
Oh,
The
true.
cachet of becoming a wide receiver. All of the YouTube content that is guys who are learning to do route runs, kids who are doing wide receiver exercises when they're like 7 years old. All of these things are contributing to this huge wide receiver class from the last couple of years. From like, look at Puka Nakua. Came out, he's a late round pick. The dude is an absolute stud. He can handle 15 targets a game.
Yeah.
You are going to see every team with four deep of Puka Nakuas in the next couple of years, which is going to devalue the wide receiver contract market. So
I think it also
you're gonna
helps
see
Puka.
guys like Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman has been a top target guy for the last 3 years, who's not going to demand that much in the market because there are 30 other guys just like him.
True.
So the wide receiver market is about to fucking bottom out.
Hmm.
The state of the NFL right now is that your absolute dearth of position players is in the offensive line, and you have this overabundance of wide receivers and running backs.
Hmm.
Quarterback is hard to play, and teams are focusing on quarterback right from the beginning instead of like previous where they'd let a guy go 3 or 4 or 5 years holding a clipboard before they got into like actually
Right.
starting. That's not happening anymore. So guys have to be able to process right now.
Hmm.
You have NFL offenses versus the college spread offenses. So guys, quarterbacks are coming to the league and they can't process quick enough. It's only those quick processors that are going to be able to stick, like CJ Stroud. So there are all these little like breaks and divots and like crevasses in what it's going to take for winning football.
Yes.
And wide receiver is not one of them anymore.
No.
It had been. If you had a Marvin Harrison Sr.,
Yes.
he could do a lot for you. When
Mhm.
Marvin Harrison Jr. comes out, also Emeka Ibuka is going to come out. And what's his name? Rome Odunze is going to come out, and Jalen McMillan is going to come out, and
Everyone from Washington.
all these guys from Washington and
Mhm.
LSU and Florida State, and all these guys are going to come out at the same time, and they're all that stud.
Right.
And
And
Jackson
so
Smith and Jigba can't get any targets, and Jahan Dotson can't get any targets, and Jaden Reed can't get any targets. All of these guys are like they're on that level, and they can't get targets because nobody's focused on the offensive line and the quarterback position, letting them play.
and
So wide receiver
okay.
doesn't matter anymore.
And for me specifically, when you were going back to teams being four deep, I think the only reason that they would sooner get rid of Pittman as opposed to somebody like Alec Pierce is A, Pierce is younger, B, also he's on a contract year, and C, if you get rid of Pittman through a trade or anything like that, I wouldn't actually be shocked if Pittman was a trade by the deadline. It wouldn't shock me because you have the opportunity to have the second overall pick or something like that,
They have
and then you
different
go and
skill sets, though. They
sure,
have
but
they have
anyway,
different skill sets.
so you could be four deep if you kept all three of the core guys right now on Indy and got Marvin Harrison Jr. But I think they would sooner get rid of Pittman because of what they get back, what they're not giving to him with his own contract, and the fact that you cannot replace what Josh Downs is going to do for the future. He is so good,
So
but he's also in that tier
if
of
I'm the
like,
Colts though, if
hmm
I'm the Colts and knowing like the skill sets of the guys that I have in house,
hmm
I'm extending Pittman, and I'm extending downs. And those are the two. That's the fucking Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. That's the Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson. That's the combination that I'm going with. Both of
I mean,
those guys. That's the Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson. That is the combination that I'm looking for as a GM. There's no
sure.
reason for them to move on from that. Now, if they get like Jalen McMillan out of the draft,
Hmm.
I mean, come on, that's just a fucking bonus.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no reason for them to move on from what they have. They just
Yeah.
extend and
The,
and keep guys in house for cheaper
yeah.
than going out and getting a fucking Marvin Harrison Jr. who
But if you're going to have the third overall pick or second overall pick anyway, or are in position to take a guy like that,
then
yes, the
you
Bears are
draft
going to be
offensive line. God damn it. That's what I've been trying to say the whole time.
for the Colts.
For anybody.
I guess. Look, if the
The,
Raiders have the third overall pick and they go offensive tackle, I'm done. They need Drake May.
there's
You can
almost
take.
no there's almost no reason at this point in the NFL, and if you look back at the history of it, there's almost no reason in the NFL draft the top 20 picks are not offensive and defensive linemen.
Hmm.
You can find fucking a quality wide receiver in the fourth round. You can
Yes,
find running backs late. You can find quarterbacks who are going to do, like, why
and
aren't
yet,
the top 20 picks not offensive and defensive linemen?
and yet, looking at the Chiefs, Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith are like fifth and sixth round picks
Right.
respectively.
That's what I'm saying. They should be first and second round picks.
But
That's
but
my
no, but
point.
that also is the same point where you can find a guy like that, a trench player who is going to be cheap and is going to be Creed Humphrey is arguably the best center in football, and he was a sixth round
No,
pick.
no,
You
no.
can
You're
find
you're
guys later in the
misunderstanding me.
draft.
What I'm saying
Okay,
is, why is Sky Moore getting the fucking contract when Creed Humphrey should be getting the contract? That's my point. Creed
because
Humphrey
tiny
is more
man go
important.
fast.
Creed Humphrey is more important for your team than Sky Moore. And
Yeah,
Sky Moore doesn't do shit, but Creed Humphrey does. But who gets the money? Sky
Sky Moore.
Moore. That's my point.
Okay,
Sky
and
Moore
I
was a third rounder. Rasheed Rice was a third rounder. Like, I get it. But
yeah,
those
I agree.
guys are not producing. Whereas Creed
Yeah,
Humphrey, if he was taken 10th overall, he'd be getting the bag immediately and showing his worth. But you don't take center that early, right? Look at fucking Jalen Carter. He is a game wrecker, and he got an early bag. What did the Philadelphia Eagles do? They went with, hey, let's grab DeAndre Swift and let's stick with Kenneth Gainwell. Kenneth
yeah.
Gainwell scored a touchdown last night. Jalen Carter got a sack. Like, and DeAndre Swift is doing his thing that
Like
he did in
RB
Detroit.
7 right now or something.
Yeah, he did his thing without like what he did before he got injured in Detroit.
Yeah,
The guys who can produce in the NFL are a dime a dozen. The guys that are the backbone of your team, like, why aren't they the ones getting paid instead of the
I don't
guys who
know
are getting paid that aren't doing shit?
because everyone's going to rock a Sky
Like
Moore
Jimmy
jersey and not a Creed
Garoppolo.
Humphrey.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, and it's bullshit and it's
It's
wrong, and
backwards.
I agree with you on that. Creed
It's
Humphrey
not
should have
bullshit
been
and wrong. It's just backwards.
okay. Well, however you fucking say it, I'm in agreement with you. I just anyway, but moving on from that, I think moving on, but also going back on you bringing up Jalen Carter. Are we still on? Duh.
Yeah.
Okay, because he's kind of the most obvious duh that there has ever been. But I'm not even entertaining the hypothetical of the Raiders having gotten him. I don't think
And
there's
I'm
ever
not
a
trying to
world,
and I'm not trying to put you on that. That's not the reason that I brought him up. The reason that I
and
brought him
I'm
up
glad.
was that he was on Sunday Night Football and Chris
Yes.
Collinsworth sucked his dick and
Mhm.
called him out and
And he should
he
get a fucking
performed.
Emmy for that flop. He really should. I mean, look. Speaking of defensive tackles, I don't know if you heard. It
I
was
didn't and I don't want to.
no. Did you hear? Jonathan Allen talking his
No,
post game interview?
no.
He was like, so somebody asked him about the game, and he was like, well, we just, we didn't execute all that. He gives his coaching answer first, and they're like, uh, they're like, how do you feel about this at this point in your career? And he's like, I'm fucking tired of this shit. It's been 7 years of the same shit. We can't get it done. It's been, and he just keeps talking, and he's like, I'm fucking tired of this fucking shit, and just fuck on on TV and everything. And I was like, that's my favorite interview I've ever seen a player give. It's so candid, and
Yeah.
it's just fully this is real.
You know who should be the best team in fantasy? You know who should be the best team in football right now?
Hmm.
The Washington goddamn
No,
Commanders.
no,
Absolutely. They
no.
have such a good defense. They have
They have a
weapons
good
at
front seven.
they have they have such a good defense. They have weapons at every fucking skill position.
I mean,
They should be so good. You
Forbes,
have
man.
you have a running back who can carry the ball 20 times a game
Hmm.
efficiently in Brian Robinson. You have a
Sure.
running back who can come in for third downs and used to be a wide receiver in college in Antonio Gibson. You
Yeah.
have wide receivers in Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, and Jahan Dotson, who are all capable. You have a stud fucking tight end in Logan Thomas. You have a fucking
How's he a stud?
abs. Who?
He's like below average at
Logan
everything.
Thomas is a 32-year-old tight end in the NFL who's like capable of catching 8 to 10 passes a week and touchdowns. The only
Maybe
weeks he's
5 years ago.
no, this year, the only weeks that he's had bad weeks was when he got pulled for concussion.
Oh,
You have a defense that is great across the front line. They have one of the best front fours in the NFL. The
I mean, I
Washington
think they have the best, but
the the Washington Commanders should be the best team in the NFL. The
sure.
prob the
O
problem
line,
is
O line is dog shit. Their coach is dog shit. Sam Howell, not
Ron
really a franchise
Rivera,
quarterback. Yeah,
Cal Legacy,
riverboat Ron.
Rivera. Sam Howell is not dog shit. Sam Howell is a good quarterback. It's
I mean,
hard to
he's
be.
got flashes of it.
He's not a. He's a good quarterback. He
Good,
hasn't been able.
not great.
He hasn't been able to be a great quarterback because he has been sacked more than any quarterback in the NFL this season.
He's
If
on pace to break David Carr's record. I'll give him that
right, and if he had
by like
time,
20.
if he had time
Yeah,
in the pocket, he would
yeah,
be a great quarterback. He has flashed great quarterback skills. The, the
yeah.
Washington Commanders should be the best team in the NFL, but
No,
Ron
I think
Rivera is awful,
yes.
and and their offensive line is fucking garbage.
Yes, and I think in the draft this year, their first round pick, if it's not offensive tackle, then they're fucked. They need to go. I would literally spend all 7 picks on offensive linemen so that you have depth as well.
Don't
Every
forget
other,
about free agency because one of the
sure,
things that I got from watching the
go
game
get Taylor
yesterday,
Lewan. Fuck it.
how does he not have a job right now?
I don't
One of
know.
the
There are so many bad offensive lines, and the problem with offensive line right now is not just the fact that like skill positions get the money, and so people want to make their kids into skill position players. It's also the fact that there are so many good, dominant edge rushers and defensive
yeah,
linemen compared to the amount of great offensive line.
sure,
Like
yeah,
great
and
offensive linemen are like few and far between, but Bryce Huff is like the fifth option on the Jets and is like one of the better like pass rush win rate guys, is fucking fantastic.
and
Bryce Huff is a starter on like 31 NFL teams.
frequent guest in the Fantasy Burn, Raider Damas,
Mm,
whose content you can find in online, and
yeah.
he's fucking good. Just fucking Google Raider Damas.
Mm,
He has made the point that in 7-on-7 football, which is what's popular with kids coming up because they're trying to avoid concussions,
yeah.
offensive line play gets devalued.
Hmm.
And then you get into these spread offenses in college football, and offensive linemen are not prioritized because anybody can stand in the shotgun, take a 3-step drop. A lineman doesn't need to fucking create pass protection because the system does,
Mm-hmm.
and then it changes in the NFL. So most of these guys coming out in the draft are not great at being offensive linemen like they
Mm-hmm.
used to be. So it takes somebody like Creed Humphrey, who it takes a good scout to go and go, oh, that guy's good, that guy's good, that guy's good.
Yeah.
So that's a huge problem. So what the I almost said the Redskins, what the Commanders need to do,
You also then went on to say that
Redskins,
name.
um,
Redskin Potatoes, ESPN.
potatoes. They should be the potatoes on the side of their helmet, and that
Yeah.
everything would be solved. So
Mm-hmm.
watching that game yesterday, and I have heavy investment in Sam Howell because I know that he's good. One of the things that I noticed yesterday in his inability to okay, so I tweeted at one point the Commanders defense keeps them in the game. The
Mm-hmm.
offensive line takes them out of it. And
Yeah.
it's every week that I watch them, it's the same thing. Every single snap is either a false start by an offensive lineman
Mm-hmm.
or Howell gets sacked.
Yeah.
And it's like, stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah.
What is the problem? And the problem in that case is the coach. And as a
Mm-hmm.
Cal supporter, I hate that Ron Rivera is as bad as Frank Reich.
Hey, man, 85 Bears, right?
Roll on, you Bears.
Yeah, I don't know. We can move on from the Dow segment. We got 4 more
Wait,
left.
wait.
Oh.
There's still more duh.
Oh. Well, wait, how come then I couldn't say my one that was going to take, not even joking, about a minute and a half to explain?
I don't know. Deontay Foreman, 33 points.
Oh, okay.
He had 3 receptions,
Mm-hmm.
31 yards, and a reception touchdown.
Yes.
2 rushing touchdowns and
Mm-hmm.
89 rushing yards against the Las Vegas Raiders.
And what sucks is it could have been a lot more, but he got hurt.
No, what sucks even more is that it could have been Roshan Johnson doing that, but he's been out on concussion protocol for
Oh,
3 weeks. And I have 15 shares of Roshan Johnson.
I've got
And
one, and it still
my
hurts.
final A.J. Brown, waiting on his breakout. He had 29.7 points
Oh, yeah.
against the Miami Dolphins defense.
Mm-hmm. He has more receiving yards than all of Tennessee's receivers combined.
Oh, wait, but that's not all.
And he also has... What?
For you IDP players,
Yes.
we had Foyesade Olakun, 27.
My boy. My boy. Shout out
half
him.
points. Gardner Minshew. Wait, that's a different segment.
My boy.
Olakun, 27.5 points, and
It's Foyesade Oluokun.
that's what I said.
No.
I said Foyesade Olakun.
No, you didn't.
All right, it's time
Anyway.
for...
No. Fine.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck just happened?
What the fuck?
All right. Jahmyr Gibbs, 27.6 points. 7th highest scorer last week. What? Foye Olukun.
Foyesade Oluokun.
Foye Oluokun, 27.5 points. Gardner Minshew, 27.1 points. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I should have had Tyreek Hill as the number 10 scored 25.8 points. He was supposed to be in the duh, but I fucked up. So there you go. And
yeah, it's okay. You don't have a producer yet.
Number 11, Jalen Johnson, 24.5 points. 2 interceptions against the Raiders.
Yeah, and Tape
Josh,
Don't Lie was saying him and Stevenson were going to get cooked, and I believed it after that first play.
they should have been. Josh
They should have
Downs,
been,
23.5 points,
my boy,
number 14 high scorer.
my favorite receiver from the draft besides Zay Flowers.
Yeah. Jerome Baker, 19 high scorer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's what I got for what the fuck.
Okay, so then in that case, my what the fuck is about not even just this week in fantasy alone, but the entire season of Quentin Johnston. I thought he wasn't going to produce. I will be the first to say that I didn't think that he was going to be a year one like big time producer. But what the fuck are they doing with him? I'm actually starting to like feel bad for the guy who I didn't even want to be good in the first place. He was
Okay,
taken ahead of guys like Downs and Flowers
so here's what makes
and
that
Trey
a what
Tucker.
the fuck. Here's what makes that a what the fuck. The
Okay.
what the fuck was we figured that it was going to take injuries to Keenan Allen and Michael
T- Almost said Thomas. Mike Williams.
Williams for
Michael K. Williams. He got injured this
for
year.
for QJ to
I think it was the fentanyl.
take over the role. What we didn't expect was
R.I.P.
that
Omar.
Brandon Staley is a shit fuck and
Well, I
will.
knew that.
What we didn't expect was that Brandon Staley was a shit fuck and would still start or still go to Josh Palmer and Gerald Everett over Quentin
Yeah.
Johnston.
Mm-hmm.
So
Donald Parham.
that's a combination of Quentin Johnston not being ready yet. And the other thing is, and this is a duh, is that we didn't expect Quentin Johnston to break out until the second half of the season. We're still in week 7.
Yeah.
Second half is after week 8.
Mm-hmm.
So to figure that he has taken on that role at this point,
Mm-hmm.
like I didn't expect that. I hoped for it. And there's a difference in fantasy football between hoping and expecting. And
Yes.
there are lots of things that I've hoped for, like the
Mm-hmm.
breakouts of Roshan Johnson and Condre Miller, and the
Mm-hmm.
breakout of Quentin Johnston, and the breakout of Jackson Smith and Jigba. And none of those things have happened,
Yeah.
save for Jackson Smith and Jigba this week.
And I think that
But we're not halfway into the
okay.
season, is my point. We're not even
Fair.
halfway there. So
Fair.
we still have time for all of those things to happen. It's
Yeah.
just once Mike Williams went down, we were like, oh, it's QJ time. And no,
Yeah.
it wasn't QJ time. He's still not ready. That's fine.
And I think one of my favorite parts about specifically this rookie class and how I think going forward I'm going to perceive rookies. Obviously, somebody like Puka, I I think it was injury why he fell. It was like he just could not stay healthy to save his life.
Nope.
No, I thought it
No.
was.
No. It was from March. Sean McVay said it is the Cooper Cup and Van Jefferson show.
No, I'm saying why he fell in the draft
That's
was
what I'm
injury
saying.
concerns. Oh,
That's no, it's not that. It's that his role was supposed to be as maybe the fourth receiver because Higbee, Van Jefferson, and Cooper Cup were supposed to be in front of him. And
oh no,
Sean,
you're talking about fantasy draft.
yeah,
I'm talking about the actual NFL draft.
this is a
I know, I know, and
this is a
don't drink.
goddamn fantasy football podcast. God
And my
damn it!
point was going to, relate to it. I'm very good with my words. I was going to relate it to fantasy. Anyway, I don't think that anybody could have expected that at this point in the year, any receiver named Puka Nakua, Jake Bobo, or Trey Tucker would look better than Quentin Johnston in terms of the fantasy numbers. Thank you, Dad, for letting me say my whole point before you chimed in. I appreciate that. You're
Mm-hmm.
growing, you're learning. Very good. Um, I don't think that anybody
You're
has
welcome.
expected a number of receivers to look and have produced more than him because he went above someone like Zay Flowers, who I thought was perfect for the Chargers. I didn't want to see it, and I'm glad we didn't. But I thought he was perfect, or not
Zay
Zay Flowers.
Flowers is a
Yeah,
better
Zay
stud.
Flowers and Josh Downs.
Zay Flowers has been a stud.
He's been a stud, and I think,
Stud.
and I have been saying, I have been shouting from the rooftops, he is going to be the best receiver in this draft class when all of their careers are said and done. Some people say JSN, some people say whoever. I think Zay Flowers, like his
Well,
his
Jackson
numbers
Jackson
are going
Smith
to
and
be better.
Jigba had the better profile. Jordan Addison had the better opportunity.
Sure,
Um, but yeah,
there's
no,
reasons for.
Zay Flowers is a stud, and
Look, this is one
Addison's
of the best
hurt.
receiver classes
Addison
we've seen in a while.
breaking.
Oh, Addison touchdown.
Jordan Addison is hurt.
Oh,
He's laying down and can't get up.
well, my next what the fuck is why did Jordan Addison's career get ended this fast? No, um, called it. No, I feel like every time that I've been on, my what the fuck is called it, not necessarily a real what the fuck. No, um, yeah, Quentin came into the draft with a lot of hype, a lot of like, oh, his size, speed, and like release route running is going to be like such a deadly weapon when he like finally gets it going. And I've also been of the mindset that you can't give players 7 games and have a correct idea of what they're going to be as players. We don't know that this is all Quentin Johnston is ever going to be. It literally cannot be, or he's like the biggest receiver bust of all time. This
No,
cannot be the level of play that we get from him every year of his career. He's gonna get better.
yeah,
But my what the fuck is I didn't think it would be this bad
it's
yet. Maybe
okay.
it's not. Maybe it's not.
So
But
So, in fantasy football, it takes wide receivers, especially rookie wide receivers, a few weeks to get acclimated to the game.
true,
Coaches want to see certain things.
true.
Every once in a while, there are breakouts like Justin
Hmm.
Jefferson, who, if you recall a few years ago, you were suffering from waiver conundrum, and I said, grab Justin Jefferson, and you did, and you won the league.
Hmm.
Those things happen.
Yeah,
This year, those things are happening fewer and more far between now than they
yeah.
were 3 years ago because more wide receivers are coming out, just like the wide
Mhm.
receiver thing I was talking about a few minutes ago. However, it still stands. There are some wide receivers, tight ends included, that for some reason, NFL head coaches, front offices, whatever, they have the guy that they've invested money into,
Hmm.
and then they have the guy behind them that has the most talent.
Hmm.
Jalen Warren and Najee Harris is a perfect example of it. Everybody knows that Jalen Warren should be getting 20 to 30 touches per game,
Right.
but he splits everything with Najee Harris
Yeah.
because Najee Harris has the draft capital, Najee Harris has the contract, Najee Harris has the cachet, whatever.
Hmm.
Same with Quentin Johnston. He's not Keenan Allen. He's not Mike Williams. He does have the draft capital. Marvin
Yeah.
Mims has the draft capital. Jaden Reed has the draft capital. Those guys should be getting targeted, but they're
Hmm.
not
They're
because
not.
they need to learn the offenses, and it doesn't take a rookie camp and a training camp to learn the offense. It doesn't take the rookie camp, training camp, and the first few weeks to learn the offense. It
No.
takes a while,
And
and
and so
that's
this
what we're
is
seeing with Quentin Johnston.
yes.
He will be fine. And at a
Hmm.
certain point, if everything goes as it should in LA, of San Diego, of Inglewood, of whatever, the fucking
Hmm.
Chargers, at some point he should take over as the wide receiver one and be a 1,400 yard, 8 to 12 touchdown wide receiver
He should.
in LA.
Hmm.
That range of outcomes is not out of the question still.
No, it's not. But in his rookie year, which is what I stated, I knew in his rookie year he would not be the player that people thought he was. I'm still
Everybody
giving him
did.
time. Yeah.
Everybody going into the rookie draft said Jackson Smith and Jigba is the most talented wide receiver in this class.
Hmm.
Jordan Addison has the best opportunity in this class. Zay Flowers is the best route runner in this class.
Hmm.
Quentin Johnston is none of those three, but he's a big guy and has a profile that is that can be dominant like
and has the best quarterback.
Megatron in this class. Those things they're all still true. They're all
But
still true. The
I mean, I
difference
would not.
is, where did you spend your draft capital in fantasy drafts?
Yes, yes.
And but we knew that Jordan Addison
Okay.
was a higher draft pick. Quentin Johnston was a late round flyer.
hmm And I'll be
He's
honest with
been
you,
on
there.
your he's been on our benches and he hasn't broke out yet. And we're still waiting for it. And we thought that Mike Williams going out was, oh, here we go. No, we're still
Yeah,
waiting. So it's all about expectations versus reality,
sure.
and the
I just
expectations haven't hit yet.
yeah. Um, but I think going off of your point of sometimes it takes rookies a few games. That's why I've never really like I've never really given in to the idea of somebody like I know I've referenced it before, but I've never given into the notion that Laporta is head and shoulders above Mayer. I don't think that's the case. I think and really how I look at rookies now is it just takes one game to change a perception within a rookie. It takes one game for you to go from not thinking that this player is really anything because you look at just the stat sheet and then you get that one big breakout game. You get the 75 yards against the Patriots. You get even before that his like 2-point conversion that he, caught the ball for, flashes like that, big catches against the Packers, had like 30 yards, whatever. And we start to see a pattern of they're trusting him more. We see his run blocking and pass blocking grades go up. His pass blocking grade is a 71.7 or some shit. That is well above league average. And his run blocking is about league average. So
Okay,
he's
and
starting to understand things.
as any viewer of the Fantasy Burn has heard
Mhm.
before, that is traditionally the way that the tight end position works,
Right.
especially in fantasy. And it
hmm
takes literally years for that shit to come to fruition.
Whereas with
The
somebody like
difference
Laporta,
the difference between Sam Laporta and Michael Mayer is that Sam
big
Laporta,
receiver, tight end.
Luke Musgrave, Dalton Kincaid, they
Yeah,
are big slot guys
good spot.
who are entrusted to be wide receivers. Michael
hmm
Mayer is still being entrusted to be a tight end.
Yes.
That's one of the problems with the fucking Josh McDaniels regime, is that they're still expecting that instead of splitting them out like they did with Darren Waller. Whatever offense you had with Darren Waller, just put Michael Mayer there. That's all
Yeah,
you have to do. They're not doing
yeah.
that. They're putting
You
him
could
in the
use
Lee
Hooper
Smith
as that
role, and
traditional tight end.
they're saying make Michael Mayer into Lee Smith first, like
Right.
it used to be. It's not that way anymore. So you
hmm
have Sam Laporta breaking out.
Yeah,
That's the
and so
difference.
again, and that's why I haven't really given into any of these ideas and any of these posts saying like, what the fuck? Why is A better than B? I'm like, it's not that. They're clearly of similar or equal talent. If anything, Mayer was better in college, but Laporta has a much more NFL friendly style and system being coached up by Ben Johnson, not Josh McDaniels. It is not that Mayer is not getting open. It is not that he's not getting
Future Las
separation.
Vegas Raiders head coach Ben Johnson.
My bad. Future Las Vegas Raiders head coach Ben Johnson. My absolute I literally all I want for Christmas is McDaniel's gone and Ben Johnson hired. I want that on my timeline. I will literally never complain about anything Mark Davis does again if that is on my timeline during Christmas. Like I would oh my god, could you imagine that? Oh
Yeah,
my god. Oh my god.
yeah.
Like yeah, we'll take the next Mike McDaniel. Thank you for that.
No,
Not
there's
not
only
not
one
that
Mike
far, but you know
McDaniel.
what I mean. Young, fresh mind, what McDaniel should have been, but he's like, Ben Johnson at this point now, I would say has a better track record. Um, it, and again, I think that it does take rookies a few games, and I have one. I have one player for the don't give up. It is yes going to be a Raider. We don't have to get into it
We're
yet.
not there yet. We're still in what the fuck.
Exactly, but I'm just saying like there are rookies that you should not be out on just yet.
And what the fuck? The Dolphins lost? What the
Yeah.
fuck?
What? Well, that was to the refs, but
Oh, controversy.
it was the
Uh,
same thing with the
but
Colts.
back to Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I've made the point before that
Mhm.
I was very enthusiastic about Josh McDaniels coming in as the Raiders head coach.
Hmm.
I also made it
I remember.
clear that I wanted Mike McDaniel.
Hmm.
I've also made it clear that my having managed businesses before, my management style was to enter, figure out what the strengths of each player at every position was,
Yeah.
and coach to the strengths of those positions. And if you watch what Mike McDaniel has done, he went into Miami and he said, "Hey, Tua, what do you do great and what do you do
Point guard.
bad? Let's not do the bad stuff. Let's do the
Right.
good stuff." And what has he done? He has turned Tua into a league winning quarterback.
MVP caliber quarterback.
He has these weapons. What do these
Yes.
weapons do great? Let's do it. He has
Run.
the fastest team in the NFL. What
Yeah.
do? We outrun everybody. He
Yes.
has he has adapted his game plan to
Yeah.
the strengths that he has in the positions that he has them.
Yes.
And what did Josh McDaniels do? Josh McDaniels came in and he did exactly the opposite. He said, "I have all these square pegs. I'm
Mm.
going to try and fit all of you round players into these square holes. None of you will fit. And if you don't like it, get the fuck out."
Yeah.
And he has created a losing environment. Mike
Hmm.
McDaniel did the opposite. He said, "I have all of these pegs. I see all of these square, or I have all these holes. I see all of these square pegs. I'm
Hmm.
going to make all of my holes square to fit those people."
I mean the
That's what we need
right.
from an incoming head coach.
But at the same time, I feel that the Dolphins lucked out because if you remember with the Dolphins before McDaniel got there, they were not a playoff team. Tua did
Booth
not look that
Jr.,
good.
I see on the screen. Sorry, Booth. It said Booth
Nice.
Jr.
Uh, anyway, McDaniel had never really been a head coach before. He didn't really have a lot of experience. He's still a young, I think he's like 31 or something, 32. He's still a very young and inexperienced coach, but his style is so modern and advanced and of such good like quarterback or coaching trees that it is of the modern NFL and it's how you succeed. The reason he went to the Dolphins is because they were such a our future is up in the air team that they were like, well, we can risk it on a guy like this because what else like what do we have to lose? Whereas Mark Davis, I think, thought we can't give him a shot because what if he's just terrible? Let's give it to the guy with experience, even if it's bad experience. And I'm not saying it was right. I'm just saying given the context of how McDaniel, as good as we know him now, how he even ended up on the Dolphins is because they were like, what the fuck do we have to lose?
Right. And at the time, Josh McDaniels came from the Belichick
Yeah.
tree of success.
Hmm.
But what we have seen is that people who leave the Belichick system that aren't Belichick
Or Dan
suck.
Campbell.
And
Didn't really work out.
the Shanahan tree,
Hmm.
which includes the LaFleurs and the McVays and Mike
Yes.
McDaniel and all of these guys who all were derivative of Mike Shanahan, and John Gruden, who were
Hmm.
all derivative of Al Davis.
Yes.
All comes back to Al Davis. Just fucking win, baby.
I'm
If you
sure. Yeah.
follow the coaching trees of the successful teams over the last 40 years in football,
There's other coaches, not Al Davis, but
most
I
of
agree with
them,
you. Most of them.
most of them
Yeah.
have some tie to Al Davis,
Which, by the way, for the viewer out
including
there, oh,
including Bill Walsh,
hmm,
which begat George Seifert. Bill Walsh, creator of the West Coast offense, along with Sam Weish from Cincinnati.
hmm,
All of that came from Al Davis, John Madden, uh, all of that. Uh, Mike Shanahan came from
yeah,
the Al Davis tree. Mike Shanahan created the coaching tree in Washington, which begat Sean McVay and all those guys, and Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel, blah 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 blah. The Lafleur, everything comes from Al Davis.
Literally everything exciting about today's NFL is because of Al Davis,
Absolutely.
and yet the NFL still hates him.
Well, no, they've moved on to Mark's haircut.
No, I mean like the actual NFL, like the commissioners and everything, they still hate us. It's fine. Um,
Right. But
yeah, but
culturally, they
we're
hate
cursed.
Mark Davis's haircut more. It doesn't matter how good Mark Davis is. It doesn't matter the fact that Mark Davis is like created a professional sports champion, um,
Yeah, back to back WNBA titles.
which he did, and they love
Hmm.
him. And he texts like his players every day, just win, baby, and
Yeah,
whatever. They love him. None of that matters
it doesn't because he looks goofy. And
because
the
of his haircut.
reason I love him is because he's aware that he's become a meme. He's aware that people make fun of his hair and he's like, I don't care. I have billions of dollars. I'm rich. Like go fuck yourself.
Hundreds of millions, maybe
Sorry, hundreds of millions,
ten,
but he also
ten,
turned the Raiders into a
tens of millions.
multi-billion dollar like organization, by the way, in about 2 years.
Yeah,
And gave us the best stadium in the NFL.
that wasn't on him. That was on the city of Oakland.
Well, whatever.
Mayor at the time, Libby Schaff. She shafted us, and
Mm,
we had ownership groups that were willing to fucking build in Oakland, and we could have
sure.
stayed in Oakland, but she was a bitch and decided that she didn't want professional sports. So she's driven the Raiders out of town. She drove the Warriors out of town.
Yeah.
They're driving the A's out of town.
Hmm.
If you look back 6 years ago, Oakland, California had, or let's go back 7 years. Oakland, California had the Oakland Raiders in the playoffs, the Golden State Warriors getting ready to win championships, the Oakland Athletics baseball squad. Now, 7 years on,
They have none of them.
the Raiders are in Las Vegas, the
Yeah.
Warriors are in San Francisco, and the A's are ready to move to Las Vegas. All
Hmm.
because local political politicians were, and I'm liberal, but they were
Let
so liberal that they ran everybody out of town, and it's absolutely horrifying, especially to lifelong fans
yeah.
of organizations like the Oakland Raiders.
Hmm.
It's terrible, 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 terrible,
Does
terrible,
does
terrible.
does Chef have a fantasy team?
I don't know.
Then let's move on from the subject. This is a fantasy podcast. Let's be
God damn
professionals.
it,
Let's be professionals.
we cover lots of stuff.
Yeah, sure.
All right. What
Okay.
we're still on? What the fuck? Let me see if I have any left. Whoa! It says sent you an exploding trade offer.
Mm.
It's exploding.
Hi, Murdoch.
All right, here's the offer: Jordan Love,
No.
Wandale Robinson,
No.
Luke Musgrave,
No.
and a 2024 early second for
No.
Tyreek.
No.
So
I
I
don't believe in Jordan Love.
I do,
I don't.
and I also am. I have a I could benefit from Luke Musgrave as a tight end,
Sure. If Jordan Love ever learns how to throw the ball.
and an early second, mid second is pretty valuable in next year's draft. I can get a Jalen McMillan. I can get a uh, Rocket Sanders. I have 3 first rounders already.
Hmm.
If I stack up more second rounders within the top 20 picks, I
Yeah.
can take like 5 or 6 of like really, really good guys and have, I mean, my quarterback situation right now is Sam Howell, Brian Hoyer.
Yep. Actually, question for you about next year's rookie drafts. Okay, so how do you
and
think that this?
and Zach
Oh,
Wilson.
Oh.
Sam Howell, Zach Wilson, Brian Hoyer, and he's
Mm.
offering Jordan Love. My tight ends are Njoku, Lively, and Logan Thomas, and he's offering Musgrave. He is also
Mm.
throwing in Wandale Robinson, who I used to have, and he's beginning to get a little bit better in New York, kind of like I expected
Sure.
2 years ago, but it hasn't happened yet. And
Cool.
that second rounder.
You
So,
remember the old movie Dark Man with Liam Neeson?
yeah,
Okay, because that's kind of been my David Njoku nickname has been Dark Man, which sounds kind of racist, and I hate it. But also, it's just because he got burned. But he still looks like a badass. If you saw the mask he walked into the game with, he looked like Bane. That shit is cool. He survived that without going blind. Fuck yeah. It's a
so
it's a term of endearment, not me making fun of him.
so
But
nickname him Bane.
but the burns, that was the whole reason I called him Dark Man. Because Dark Man gets burned and has to wear wrappings around his face. You remember the movie, you know why.
But so did the Joker.
No, because Jokic already has the Joker nickname.
That's a different sport.
I know, but anyway. Um, Sidetracking. Is that your last what the fuck?
I don't know. Let me check.
Is your what the fuck how bad of a trade that is?
No, it's not a bad trade.
You get two Packers, Wandale Robinson, and a second round pick for Tyreek Hill. I'm declining that immediately. You may be right about this. I'd rather be
We're
wrong than right.
talking we're talking about dynasty,
Yes. I don't believe
and
in Jordan Love at all.
okay, Jordan Love has been better per game than
Mm,
Sam Howell, who is my quarterback one right now. So that's an upgrade.
or shows you how bad your QB1 is.
That's why it's called an upgrade.
Yeah.
On top of that, the problem with the Packers this year has
Hmm.
been with their offensive line, David Bakhtiari being injured, blah, blah, blah. They have the pieces.
Hmm.
They have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. They have that entire wide receiver core. They have Luke Musgrave at tight end. Their offense is set. The only pieces they need to create in free agency and the draft are on the offensive line to replace Bakhtiari and strengthen that part of it.
True.
Jordan Love can be a great quarterback.
Mm.
He's got a huge arm. He's got weapons, and he's had really good games. When I talked to this guy, originally when he said he wanted Tyreek Hill, I said, I'm going to need Jordan Love and Luke Musgrave and a
Okay.
second rounder. He just took that and threw in Wandale because I've been telling everybody I'm fielding like 3 or 4 offers at a time. So they're all trying to like throw in DK Metcalf and a
Yeah, you have
fucking
all the leverage.
right. I have all the leverage. I have the
Yeah.
number one scoring position player in fantasy football right now.
Yeah.
And I'm about to fucking tank my season.
Okay.
And and the
So let's
only
get to your last what the fuck so I
the
can get
only
to mine.
thing is that Murphy has the 2024 first from the team that right now is 0-6,
Mm. Nice.
which I would absolutely do straight up, but he
Mm-hmm.
won't do it.
Yeah.
And he's so
Because then you're
Murphy's
getting one of Harrison Jr., Caleb, or Brock Bowers.
no Murphy's going to get Caleb. I'm happy
Yeah.
with everybody else
Right. Okay.
because if there's going to be a bust,
It's gonna be Caleb.
it's going to be Caleb.
He's
All right.
literally either gonna be the greatest quarterback of all time or a big draft bust. There is no in between.
Fantasy scoring number 19, Jerome Baker. Fuck yeah, that helped me.
Nice.
And
Get to your what the fuck.
that was what
Oh,
the fuck.
Jerome Baker was your what the fuck?
Yeah, I guess we're done.
Yeah, we got 3 segments. Let's go. A 2-hour podcast.
Oh my god, it's time for Don't give up.
Yeah,
It's time for
don't give
Don't
up.
Give Up.
Don't
All
give
right.
up.
Don't give up. Darren Waller was the number 17 fantasy football scorer this week
Yes.
with 22.8 points.
Don't give up if it's in best ball.
Don't give up on Darren Waller.
I'm not even trying to talk shit. I just legitimately think that. I don't think he's going to be this consistent with it, but, hey, I could be wrong. Don't give up on him, though.
Jalen Hurts was outscored this week by Josh Allen
hmm
and Gardner Minshew. Don't give up.
Minshew magic.
So here's the thing. DynastyProsFootball.com weekend warm up. Video didn't get posted. My co-host Mike Lindberg, I like to call Mike Grindberg, I told him in my sits column that Gardner Minshew was a sit because Gardner Minshew was facing the Browns' historic defense.
Yes.
And also, Mike Grindberg looks like Gardner Minshew.
Who also looks like a young Uncle Rico.
Yes, I'm going to
Yeah.
bring that up with Mike
And it
next
and
time I
his,
talk to him. You look like Uncle Rico. Oh,
his
funny thing on the train. Okay, here. So we're on the train. There's my girlfriend Rebecca and I. We're on the train. I
yeah.
have the bottomless mimosas. Boom, boom, boom. I figured out that wildberry syrup and Moscato is the best combination of sparkling wine and the options for mimosas.
hmm
But since it's October 21st on that day, it's a lot of people in Halloween costumes. So there were Halloween parties, there were also birthday parties. Well, because I have bottomless mimosas and Rebecca has drink tickets, she was going to drive. So she had two drink tickets left over. And I was like, one for the best costume, two for the birthday person. So I said, I'm going to walk up and down the train and I'm going to find the person with the best costume and I'm going to find the birthday person. She
hmm
gives me the two tickets. I find the birthday person. I'm like, hey, here's a free drink. Happy birthday. He's like, oh my God. I continue on my trek down all of the train cars.
hmm
It's really hard to walk on train cars sober. Also, I had like 6 or 7 fucking mimosas.
hmm
And I get to the last bar cart. And earlier, we were standing to get Rebecca's first glass of wine,
hmm
and the guys behind us were dressed up in costume. And I had turned kind of absentmindedly, whatever, and I saw that the guy had like an American flag bandana on. And then we had moved on, and then I saw that he was wearing American flag pants. And I was like, holy shit. And the
Oh
guy
my
that he was
God.
standing with had a fake mustache and like this brown curly wig,
Yeah.
and it didn't click. So then we're sitting in our fucking mimosa car,
hmm
and I see these two girls walking up, and one of them has a wig on, and she's wearing a Vote for Pedro shirt,
hmm
and the other one is dressed like Pedro with the fucking bolo tie and everything and the shirt,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, Napoleon Dynamite costumes. It didn't click to me that they were together until I'm walking down the bar cart and I see all of them sitting together. And at first, my thought was to go give Pedro the best costume ticket. But then when I got up there and they were all together and it clicked in my head, oh my God, you're fucking Rex. And I walked up to this group of people and I fucking flexed my traps and I went, do you have room in your dojo for a new client? And he was like, oh my God. And he fucking jumped up and we fucking high fived, but it was a fucking weak one because I had a ticket in my hand. And he was like, and so it was like weak fingers and shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, Rex from Napoleon Dynamite has the best costume. And I fucking handed him the ticket. It was
Mm.
fucking Rex from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
It was so good. I was like, do you have room in your dojo for a new customer? And he was like, yeah, woo.
If you want to join my 3-week program.
Yes, it was so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment that, I
No, I
mean, there
love
were
Ginger
like,
Fader. He's awesome.
oh, two
He's
girls,
my animated Batman. Just
two girls,
saying.
two girls at the same time. There were, there were fucking Powerpuff Girls. There were so
Uh,
many different costumes and shit that were like really good. But
hmm
Rex's dojo was like that. That's the one that got me. And
hmm
I had been drinking, so it took me a little second to fucking realize that like it was literally like 8 or 9 people that were all dressed up in different Napoleon Dynamite costumes, and I was like,
Yeah.
of all of those, Rex
Mm.
gets my vote. Here you go. And yeah, they were
Wow.
happy. They were very happy.
What a great 6-minute story. It
Oh,
was a great story. I'm not
I
gonna
cut it.
really give you shit.
I cut it short for brevity.
Okay. Spell brevity.
Brevity.
Nice. You probably won a school spelling bee and think you're cool.
I won a lot of them. Josh Downs, 14th highest
Yes.
score, 23.5 points. What the fuck?
Yes.
Oh, wait, that was before.
Don't give up on Josh Downs.
Ah, God, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. All right.
Never give up on Josh Downs. And I knew the people that called me crazy. No, the I knew Josh Downs was gonna be so good. Anyway,
Dead air, dead air, dead air. What are you talking? Why are you talking? Why aren't you talking?
what?
Why aren't you talking?
I'm talking.
You didn't. There was dead air. There was like minutes where it was
Oh
like,
no, I was talking the whole time.
I want more Donald Trump impressions.
The
Because I'm trying. I'm trying to
people
think.
didn't believe me when I talked about Quentin Johnston not being a very good wide receiver.
Quentin Johnston. I
They never believed me, but I am the greatest talent evaluator. I'm the
no,
greatest that ever lived.
nobody watches
I've never
football.
drafted anyone not white in my life.
Nobody watches football like I watch football.
I watch the best football that you've ever seen. No one watches it like me. I have the best eyes in the game, the best fantasy teams every year. None of my players get on IR.
I'm the best at watching fantasy football. Okay, so I have in my fantasy Pirates of the Caribbean league. My team name is called Protecting Tyreek
Mm,
because every week that we lose, the other team gets to take a player,
yeah, yeah,
and so my team is called Protecting Tyreek, and I got a message. Assume you are protecting Tyreek per the team name. Yes,
yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
yeah. Take anybody but Tyreek.
hmm
So let's look at what's happening here.
No, let's get to don't give up.
Nope, because
Okay,
I'm not giving up in this league. I only lost by 20. All right, so in the matchup,
soldier on.
this is the number one team. All right,
Mhm.
so quarterbacks: Derek Carr, Lamar Jackson. I don't think he's going after Carr.
Ah,
Running backs. I have Daryl Henderson and James Cook. He
hmm
has Saquon Barkley and Kenneth Walker. He's not going after my running backs. Wide receivers. He has DJ Moore and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I have Tyreek Hill and Calvin Ridley. Tight end. He has Hawkinson. I have Goddard.
oof. I mean, I love Goddard. He's starting to like get really really good.
Yeah,
Um,
he hasn't outscored Hawkinson, though. I wouldn't trade Hawkinson for Goddard.
even though Hawkinson right now looks really bad.
Flex, I have Musgrave,
hmm
7 points. He had Mostert, 6.1 points.
Okay.
So if he wants James Cook or Daryl Henderson, he has to give me Mostert.
hmm
If he wants Musgrave, he's got to give me Hawkinson. Uh, Kickers, he has Jason Myers, 8.9 points. I had Hopkins, 24 points.
Nice.
Defense, he had Browns 15 points. I had Commanders 8 points. So I'm pretty sure he he's he's going he's going after Dustin Hopkins. That's the only trade that can be made, right? Like
Yeah.
in week 1 I won, and
Hmm.
like the only trade I could make was grabbing one of the kickers for like my Daniel Carlson, because I didn't want, like, I won. I didn't want any of the other guys' things.
Right.
He has Jordan Addison sitting on 29 points that wasn't in his lineup, and he still fucking kicked the shit out of me by 20.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm not doing very well.
Wow. I'm actually surprised with how well I've been doing in our league.
Which one is that? Because we're in a couple.
We're only in the one. Oh no, you're right. You're right about spam hand eggs.
Spam and
Uh,
eggs.
the Dave League.
Spam and eggs, not spam and eggs.
Whatever.
That's not the one that you're beating me in.
No, because I've already beaten you in that one.
No, you're beating me in spam and eggs.
Yeah, but last week I also beat you.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I just mean in general in the Dave League I'm doing pretty well. It still has me at like number 5, which I don't get.
Well, we won't update until next week or until tomorrow. But
Right, but for like the last 3 weeks, all I've done is like win pretty much, and I'm like still number 5. I'm getting the double wins and everything.
well, no, you're 7-5.
Am I?
Yeah,
Oh.
before this week. God damn, I'm doing bad. That was
Hmm?
that was one of those leagues where it was like, okay, I'm going for it all. James Conner, Nick Chubb, Justin Fields, all on injured reserve. Fuck
Oh, in the Dave League?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, because you want to win.
Zach Charbonnet out. Aaron Jones
Yeah.
has been out like the last 5 weeks. Like like in the draft, I was like, all right, I'm not going fucking like rookies and young guys and whatever.
Hmm.
I'm like, I'm
You've
going
got
all
Devontae
in.
Adams. I knew you weren't trying for the future. You wanted to win the money now.
Right, and everybody got hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why normally in dynasty startups I don't do that, because
Now
that's
you
what happens, and it fucking happened.
now you know how weird it is for me to have taken Anthony Richardson with my second pick, and I'm still like consistently beating people, even though I'm not going to have him the rest of the year. Which is so clutch that I was able to even get Minshew. Um, but did you see
Like,
on the
okay,
waivers?
for example, this week
Hmm.
I had to start Zach Charbonnet,
Yeah.
who I thought was going to be a fantastic like RB4, except he missed and I got 0 points.
Hmm.
But he was the only other person, because Connor is on IR and Nick Chubb is on IR,
Yeah.
and like I thought I was going to be great with Justin Fields, big breakout year, which he was doing until he got hurt, and like
I guess. Yeah.
my team is dead.
Hmm.
Keenan Allen, Cortland Sutton, Devontae Adams, like Deontay Johnson. I had a like after the draft, I had a fucking squad, and then
Yeah.
everything went to shit. So hey, give me those fucking draft picks.
I'm just so happy that even with people right now starting to like kind of doubt Jalen Hurts, he's still been fantasy relevant and fantasy viable through all of it. Like, regardless of what he does, that brotherly shove may have accounted for maybe 30 of my fantasy points this year,
That's
if not
nice.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one I traded away in my home league. Um,
Like, how excited I was to be like, I have Jalen Hurts and Anthony Richardson and fucking Dynasty.
no, that's
Excuse
good.
me?
That's
Like,
no, that's
that
great.
that and Montgomery and fucking Kenneth Walker, who's been really good. He was the only running back this week to have 100 yards. Like, what?
Right. And
Yeah.
so in my home league, I have Walker, and he has been fucking carrying me because Pierce
Hmm.
hasn't done shit, and Brees Hall had like a bad first 4 weeks.
Hmm.
But if you fast forward to next year, I'm gonna have Kenneth Walker, Brees Hall, and fucking Damian Pierce as like a backup and whatever,
Hmm.
right? So like all of my teams are poised.
Yeah.
None of them are winning.
And that's why I think I am smart, because not only am I poised to also still for years now, I'm going to have Richardson and Downs as a good stack. I'm going to have Devonta Smith and Jalen Hurts as a stack with Goddard, whoever is like my alternating tight end one. I'll have Goddard there for some weeks, maybe Mayer for others. I'm winning now and setting up for a really good future.
Did
Like,
you
my
just
team is young as shit, and I'm winning now.
did you just see the Modern Warfare 3 commercial that came out?
No, I don't. I don't really care.
I swear to God, you and your brother playing Modern Warfare for fucking the last decade, and 3 comes out, and it
Because
doesn't
Call of
matter.
Duty right now is not even the worst that it's been, but every game is the same. Why would I be excited? They all suck. It's not Modern Warfare, like COD 4 Modern Warfare, not the same as it is now.
And okay, so I'm just a dad, and these are
I,
not
and
things
I, and I'm that's
that
why
I've
I
heard
wasn't
from
too
my
harsh.
kids over like whatever. Like,
Look, thank you for paying attention. I'm glad that you did. It's awesome. Like, I've played Call of Duty for like 10 years now. I'm not blaming or like mad at you at all for like assuming that I'm going to play it. That makes sense, but every
especially
COD the
with you
last like
living with your brother
yeah, we don't have money for video games. Otherwise, I'd already have EAFC 24 and Spider-Man 2.
and FIFA and
Well, yeah, EAFC 24 is the new FIFA. They lost the
I,
rights.
oh shit! All
You
right,
didn't hear about that?
no.
Yeah, EA was like, well, we don't have to pay FIFA anymore for the money because we have a great track record, and we're paying them like $500 million a year or something out of our billion made to use their name. So we'll just make all the money now and also have our and also have our own name and like thing now. So I would like to buy that maybe when it's discounted, but like Spider-Man 2, that's the big one. I've played the other two games. I want to play this one, but I can't afford it. Um, Anyway,
All right, are we? Have we moved on from Don't Give Up?
no, we haven't even said a don't give up yet.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, did you? What was yours?
I don't remember.
Me neither. This is wait, no, 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 no. We're not on you asshole yet because I have my don't give up. I can't hear you because of the music. My don't give up. You need a producer. My don't give up is Tyree Wilson, even in fantasy. Obviously this is more attributed to the actual NFL, but even in fantasy, like Alex Highsmith as a number 2 option on the Steelers is fantasy viable. Literally won me a game in a previous week by himself, pretty much having like a great first quarter. These number 2 options, Bryce Huff, Alex Highsmith, etc., are starting to become really, really good NFL players on their own, and Tyree Wilson is already looking like he's becoming that. A strip sack fumble,
Okay,
13.8% pressure percentage.
as an IDP player, that's individual defensive player.
Sure.
Tyree Wilson,
2 points in his best game.
1 point, 3 points, 0 points, 1 point, 1 point, 4 points, 14 points. Snap percentages 50, 49, 18,
39.
45, 41, 37, 39. Tackles 1 2 0 1 1 2 2.
Okay.
Sacks 0 0 0 0 0
1.
0 1. Forced fumbles 0 0 0 0 0
Okay.
0 1. Fumble returns none. Interceptions none. Touchdowns none.
You can't expect a fucking edge rusher to have interceptions. Come on. Come on.
Should I go look
Okay.
at a different edge rusher
Okay, no. Here's the thing.
like
It's
JJ
the don't
TJ? Should I look at TJ Watt?
never said that Tyree was on TJ Watt's level ever.
No, no. But you said defensive end. Should I look at
But you can't expect all
Aiden?
defensive linemen to be TJ Watt or
I don't.
Aiden Hutchinson.
I don't. I don't.
Okay.
I
They're
don't.
more fantasy viable now. I'm just saying don't give up on if you're in one of these leagues with like say 2 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, 2, defensive backs and a defense like the one we're in. If your second option in a year from now, if you took him in Dynasty, yes, keep him on the bench for now, but he is already starting to like grow and become a number 2 option, which we're seeing become like
Took
actually
whom in
viable players.
Dynasty?
Huh?
Took whom in Dynasty?
Took Tyree Wilson. If you took him in Dynasty and are in a league where he can be your second defensive option, don't give up on him.
Well,
But also, in
that's what
real
I'm.
life, don't give up on him, Dad. Because you told me that he was an overdraft. You told me he wasn't the best option available, which that part I agree with. But you started to really give up. And I know that. I know you. Don't even lie.
Wait.
Don't even lie.
Who who are you saying that drafted him?
I'm saying to anybody that watches this, if they drafted him, don't give up. But also in real life, don't give up on him either.
He's averaging 0.43 fantasy points per game.
You remember what I said though about how it takes one game to change a player and the perception of them as a rookie takes one game?
He's owned by 41% of people in IDP.
Sure. So to those 41%, don't give up.
Those 41% are getting 0.43 points per game.
Sure. Don't give up. Year 2, he's gonna be a solidified number 2.
Okay,
Am I saying he's the best? I'm just saying don't give up.
no.
I also you didn't let me have my duh or what the fuck about him, so that's why this doesn't make any sense. You didn't let me have it. You didn't let me say
what
it,
the fuck
man.
about him makes any sense?
I have to fucking come up. I can't put him in you asshole or let's mock. You didn't let me talk about him, so I had to figure out something. I don't mean it, of course. Don't take him in fantasy just yet, but like I had to find a way. He had a great game. He outplayed Crosby. I'm happy for him. Let's go Tyree. He was the highest graded player on PFF of any Raiders player last year. He was the best player on our team last game.
Okay, here's the thing.
Should have had 2 sacks, by the way, Dad.
Here's
But Bajent is Josh fucking Allen. So
here's the thing. I am looking at the scoring.
Yes.
For my 32 team league.
Yeah. Is he the lowest?
In which we start.
He's the lowest.
2 defensive linemen.
He is the lowest.
That means that the top 64 defensive linemen are relevant. As long as they outscore the top 64 linebackers, top 64 defensive backs.
Was he like number 71?
He was defensive lineman number 32.
Okay. Okay.
So he was DL1 in my 32 team league.
Okay.
That's a 32 team league.
Okay. Well, then that means that there are leagues that you don't give up on him.
That's the league that I scored 42 points from Foyosade Olukan.
You gotta be drunk or not listening to me. That's not how you say it.
Hey, I'm listening.
Okay, well then you're just not getting it.
I had
You got to
four.
add a section for breakout player of the week because
I,
that would have been
I
my.
I had 14 points from Samson Nabukum. I had 6 points from Harrison Phillips tonight. He if I had Tyree Wilson in, he would have outscored Harrison Phillips. He would have outscored my DL2.
And guess what? Harrison Phillips, greatest defensive lineman of all time, kind of the goat.
What?
You didn't give me a chance to put him in any of the other sections. This is the best I could do. Actually,
What?
no, I could have thought of a better one. You asshole would have been him taking a sack and a strip fumble away from Crosby, I guess.
What?
He played better than Crosby last game.
Oh my God. Chris Olave was arrested for reckless driving tonight. He was traveling 35 miles per hour over the posted speed limit. He did not resist and was cooperative with law enforcement.
That's such a bad record of receivers just trying to get away from Carr. They would so much rather be in prison than play with him.
That's a great joke. I'm not going to entertain more of that. That was a great joke. You can also fuck
The
all the
lengths
way
they're
off.
going to just to be like, not for, God damn it.
You can fuck all the way off. But that's a great joke.
I just want to say I'm sorry to the family of that poor woman and her dog. Anyway, rest in
Thank
peace.
you.
Yeah.
That's.
Anyway,
Oh my
yeah.
God. So I thought that I was ready.
For what?
Oh, yeah, I was ready. Okay. It's time for.
Let's start the show.
Don't tempt me. You know how committed I am to bits. Don't fuck with me. All right. You asshole. First asshole. Kenneth Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell, I kept you on my fucking dynasty roster for 2 straight seasons, waiting for your breakout, and you never
Mhm.
did shit for me. Then you get into a game with against the Miami Dolphins,
Mhm.
and you have a couple carries and a fucking touchdown
Yep.
for 7.6 points. Fuck you, Kenneth Gainwell. You're an asshole.
Mhm.
On to the next asshole. This is a metered asshole because it's not that much of an asshole because I saw this coming. Ezekiel Elliott, you're not an asshole to me personally because in my European charity fantasy football tournament, I picked you up on the waiver wire. I
Mm.
thought that you would have a touchdown this week. In addition to that, in my uh, what do you call it? Crazy predictions.
Mm.
Why did I call it crazy predictions? Whatever crazy predictions. I said Ezekiel Elliott will have more touchdowns than Tony Pollard and Jamal Williams put together. At this point in the season, Ezekiel Elliott has as many touchdowns as Jamal Williams and Tony Pollard put together. Put together.
Okay. Okay.
So Zeke gets one more, and my bold prediction is totally correct. At this
Mhm.
point, they're tied. He has two, Pollard has two, Williams has none. Anyway,
Hurt.
everybody started fucking Ramondre Stevenson this week, and
Mhm.
guess who got the touchdown? Zeke
Ezekiel Elliott.
Elliott.
Therefore,
You're an
you are.
asshole.
Yeah. Yep.
Jalen Warren.
Mm.
Although in my fantasybrosfootball.com starts and sits episode, which never got aired, I said start Jalen Warren.
Mhm.
in which Jalen Warren, up to this point in the season, had outscored Najee Harris until this week when Najee Harris had 15 something points and Jalen Warren had 10 points.
Mhm.
Jalen Warren still has more fantasy points than Najee Harris. However, Matt Canada is a fucking idiot. I said start Jalen Warren. So all of the Najee Harris who somehow got a fucking touchdown. All the Najee Harris owners were like, "What is Jalen Warren doing?" Because I still start Najee Harris, so I'm dumb and I don't think that Jalen Warren
Mhm.
is going to do anything. Jalen Warren got a touchdown, in which I was saying, "What is Najee Harris doing? He is not good. Jalen Warren is the guy that I started." Uh, Najee Harris shouldn't be. What is he? So Najee Harris is my asshole, but Jalen Warren is everybody else who owns Najee Harris's asshole.
Okay.
And finally, Joshua Kelly. I'm sorry, I mispronounced. UC Davis Aggies legend, Sir Mr. Joshua Tyler Kelly, Esquire, at law, Dr. Kelly, Charger person, UC Davis legend Joshua Kelly.
Mhm.
You're an asshole.
Even
Nobody
though,
Nobody expected you to get anything because here comes Austin Eckler. He's back. Da, da, da. Everything's going to Eckler. Joshua Kelly hasn't done shit, even when Joshua Kelly was the starter. Now Eckler comes back. Okay, time for Eckler to do something, and Josh Kelly does something, and he gets a touchdown. Uh, Josh Kelly, you're an asshole.
let me just say, he helped me beat Dom because I needed a running back. I think it was who was it? It wasn't. It was Montgomery who was hurt, so I needed an RB2 to like pair alongside Kenneth Walker. I picked him up. He was like the highest projected scoring running back on Sleeper. I picked him up, and he helps me win. I was like, oh, touchdown, Josh Kelly. Well, that already pays dividends. Got like what 12 points.
He shouldn't have been,
He
but
shouldn't have been, but he was.
he was, and that's go Ags.
Yeah, let's go, asshole.
My asshole of the week is Josh fucking McDaniels. God damn it.
God damn it, you took mine.
You had us all buy into Brian Hoyer for the week. Of course, it's the Chicago Bears. Brian Hoyer is going to have a great game.
Yeah.
Instead, it should have been Aiden O'Connell, which we all had in our fucking lineups or taxi squads or benches or taxi squads anyway. And then we
Yes.
had to go make another fucking waiver pickup for Brian Hoyer. God damn it. And then we played him because you made the choice for him, and he goes and plays against the Bears. And it should have been Aiden O'Connell because Aiden O'Connell outscored Brian Hoyer throwing that touchdown, and Brian Hoyer fucking sucked, and you should have known it like entire Raider fucking Nation did. Josh McDaniels, why are you the head coach and not Raider Nation doing all fucking like polls on Twitter
hmm
to make decisions for the team? Fuck
hmm
you, fuck you, fuck you. You're the asshole of the week, Josh McDaniels.
Did you see in our Dave League that Dom spent 50 fantasy dollars on Brian Hoyer?
No.
Did you see Dad? I picked up Gardner Minshew for $1 and he just put up 30 points for me. I picked him up because Richardson was hurt for like one game, almost dropped him, but I kept him in because of just laziness. He picked up Brian Hoyer for 50 fantasy dollars and didn't even start him. He started Dak on a bye week.
Wait, what?
Look at Dom against me this week and look at the choices he made. Because Kang's in our league as well. That's Murphy, right?
No, not in our league.
Oh, okay. So whoever this fucking Kang's guy is played a bunch of people on buys and people that were out. Ugh.
To be fair, to be
Okay.
fair, to be fair,
Yeah.
his bench quarterback was Hoyer, okay, and Prescott.
hmm
Prescott scored 0. Hoyer scored 3 points.
Sure,
It wouldn't have mattered.
it wouldn't have. It would not
It
have
wouldn't have
mattered.
mattered.
But he spent $50 on it of like
Okay,
our 200 budget.
so this is also the person that has rostered Devin Singletary, Michael Carter.
Yes.
He's got Kamara and Warren, so that's fine. He's got Akers and Stevenson, so he's
Hmm.
got like four solid running backs, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But he had Justin Simmons out. He didn't fucking replace him.
Hmm.
He was looking at this as like he lost Jefferson. He's
Hmm.
got nobody on his taxi
He
squad.
lost Fields.
He's
Or no, that was you.
he was 4-8. He's tanking. He's tanking.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's just funny to me though that like I sniped him in the draft a bunch. I sniped him of Alex Highsmith, sniped him of both of the quarterbacks because he said he needed one, and I didn't need to, but I wanted to just to fuck with him. And then he also just completely gives up against me, and I beat him that way.
there were four. Like you could have beat him with four people.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Um,
proud of myself.
yeah, you could have beat him with four people. The thing
Hmm.
that's fucked up to me is that Diarrhea Dave, Di- Diarrhea Dave is fucking like he he's he's the oh no, Matty Coulomb from Player Profiler outscored him by a point this week.
Oh
But
shit,
other than that, he is like
the
one
number
of
one.
he's the number one point scorer,
Yeah.
and he didn't even draft anybody. He fucking
Yes.
so so
He's 2019 Sean Devine.
for all you people who aren't watching, I had I have a guy that he's my boy Dave Fan, uh, Doan Font. He's a Vietnamese boat person. He came from fucking like he's a Vietnamese refugee. I work with him at the grocery store. He's in my home league because it's mostly people that work at the grocery store I work at. He has different things that he wanted to have happen in fantasy football, like 0.25 points per carry because
Hmm.
PPR is too loaded on wide
Which,
receivers, blah,
which
blah,
I
blah.
love.
Right? So I created this league
Yeah.
for Dave, and it took me almost an entire year to fill it up with people. And
Hmm.
finally, and he knew, like, I'm making this league for you, Dave. This is Dave
Hmm.
fans, fantasy fans, Dave fans, and fantasy
Yeah.
fans league.
Dave Fan League.
Right.
Yeah.
So he gets into it. We get into the draft,
And
and
he has,
out of 12 teams, 11 teams are there, but not Dave Fan. And I'm like, I
because he had diarrhea.
I send him a text. I'm like, Dave, what are you doing? He's like, I don't feel good. I have diarrhea. So,
Diarrhea Dave.
so I changed the name of the league from Dave Fans, and Fantasy Fans, Dave Fans League, to Dave Has Diarrhea, you guys. Then the next day, he changes his team name to Diarrhea Dave. Such a good sport.
I
Such a
mean,
good
like,
sport. Also, he's the
we
most
love
racist
Dave.
person I know.
We, oh,
He
Pollard
gets a,
Greens, come on.
he makes the most racist jokes, and nobody ever texts him on it because it's fucking Dave, and he can
Yeah,
do that.
everyone loves Dave.
Like you can't call him out. So in
We
the
love Dave.
sleeper nicknames, he has Tony Pollard. He nicknamed him Pollard Greens, which is and no, we couldn't say anything.
Is the most racist thing.
So he goes into the draft and he's not drafting because he
Yeah.
has diarrhea. And so
Hmm.
I'm like, all right, everybody, what should we do? And they're like, let's give him quarterbacks.
Oh
So
my
we
God, Stafford or Garoppolo. That's what it was.
so we gave him Stafford and Garoppolo right off the bat, and he goes and he picks up Josh Dobbs, and somehow with Stafford and Dobbs, he is the number 3 team in the league, and we're all like sitting there just like poring over our fucking charts and shit, like,
Yeah.
and
We're all nerding out, and he's like, he's winning.
he's number 3. Everything was everything was auto drafted
He's
except
but it's
for
fine.
The people that we gave him, Stafford and fucking Garoppolo.
But like isn't Stafford doing well?
Oh no, Stafford's doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Way better than expectations. I thought they would be.
depends on the expectations. I expected this to happen with Stafford healthy. He is a high value quarterback in
I'm
two
not just
quarterback
talking about.
leagues, two quarterbacks, super flex. Yeah, no, he's
I
good.
just mean Rams in general. I did not expect this. They are starting so many rookies, and yet they are still like playing up to their level. You know what it is though? It's good rookies and coaching. Sean McVay is just that guy. He's
Right.
just that good.
So if you read anything that I wrote over the offseason about the Rams
And
and
Van Jefferson,
Matt Stafford and Van Jefferson, and all you do is you flip out, you switch Puka Nakua for Van Jefferson. Everything that I said is coming to fruition. The
sure.
only thing that I didn't see was Puka Nakua and not Van Jefferson because of what Sean McVay said all fucking preseason. It's Van Jefferson, the Cooper Cup, and Puka and Tutu. They're like fighting for it or whatever. We don't
Yeah.
want to. We don't want Skoranek to be like. We want him to just like return kicks. Everything indicated by Sean McVay.
That's not even what Skowronek does, though. He's, I
He's a
swear to God,
returner.
well, yeah, but isn't he? I swear that there was like a Brett Coleman video where he talks about like the evolution of the fullback and how what Skowronek is going to do for the Rams is essentially be their fullback.
No, so he came in as a fullback and he turned himself into a kickoff returner. And
Okay.
then when Cup and Van Jefferson were down last year and Stafford was out,
Hmm.
he was the slot receiver.
Right.
So he became like a week 11, 12, 13 pickup in fantasy. And
Hmm.
McVay addressed that in March before the draft. And he was like, we don't want Skoranek to do that. Then they drafted Nakua. They
Mm.
had Tutu Atwell, who they didn't do anything with last year. Post draft training camp, McVay came out and in interviews he said, this is Cooper Cup as wide receiver one,
Yeah.
Van Jefferson is wide receiver two. They're gonna play like he's gonna play the outside. He's the flanker. He's the outside wide receiver. Cup is the slot, and then we got Higbee, and then
Mm.
the other side is gonna be a combination of Puka Nakua, Tutu Atwell, but we don't want Skoranek. Like however it plays out, but the way that he presented it the entire offseason until week one was that it was Van Jefferson was the dude.
Ah.
So everything that I had, I fucking was all in on Van Jefferson.
Hmm.
And everything that I had was correct, except for it was Puka and not Van Jefferson. At some point, McVay, in his brain, Nakua took over for Jefferson. He didn't tell anybody. Nakua goes off for 35 fucking targets in 2 games. Van Jefferson goes by the wayside to the point where they're like, fucking send him to Atlanta.
Hmm.
But everything that I was talking about came true. A healthy Van Jefferson and a healthy Matt Stafford was going to turn into a viable fantasy
Okay.
option at wide receiver instead of Cooper Cup. That
Okay.
became Puka Nakua, not Van Jefferson.
Hmm.
So I was right halfway
Okay.
because Stafford,
Anyway,
it's Stafford. It's Stafford.
sure. Can,
It's
can I
Stafford.
can I move on though to my you asshole?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I have a twofer that I think you're gonna like. Um, it's a nice little 2-in-1, and I'll give it to you for free.
Oh,
Yeah, no, free of
BOGO.
charge. So it's a quarterback running back. Can you guess who it is?
Malik Cunningham.
No,
Taysom Hill.
N- no,
Uh, Michael Penix.
no. It's Derek Carr and Alvin Kamara.
Oh, damn it.
They are both assholes. What are they doing with Chris Olave? What are they doing with Michael Thomas, who's still somehow healthy? Why? Against me, have I had 3 running backs, one of which was Kyron Williams before anyone knew who he was? Why am I facing these running backs who are putting up 35 points on me? How does a running back have 12 receptions for 91 yards? Guess what? This is where Derek Carr comes in. He cannot throw past his first read. His first read is always the check down. Kamara and Carr, you are both assholes. Why am I constantly facing 35-point running backs? I am cursed. I'm
All right.
cursed. Whoever I face next week, one of your running backs is going to have 35 points.
To be fair, Derek Carr had 300 yards passing.
To his running back.
Derek Carr had 300 yards passing.
Okay, a third of it was to his running back.
To be fair, Chris Olave had 15 targets.
Okay.
And 7
catches. Yeah, go ahead. He's lazy. We get it. We've all heard the criticisms on Chris Olave. He's not a very explosive player, whatever.
On top of that, Kamara had 62 rushing yards and 91 receiving yards.
Yeah.
And we knew, so if I go ahead and I look at the history of Alvin Kamara,
we know what he is as a receiver.
He averages 57, 47, 83, 81, 81, 81 receptions. He had 4 straight years of over 80 receptions. That's the offense in a nutshell. To expect that's not going to happen, that's kind of on you.
It's not that I didn't expect it. It's that I'm tired of coming up. The names are not what matters. The asshole is the running back every week that I face who puts up 35 points.
Then you need to specify that.
I did.
No, you need to start with the running back I face is the asshole.
Fine, okay, but this asshole of the week running back was Alvin Kamara and his sidekick Derek Carr, who apparently just likes the check down. And even Michael Thomas was talking shit about Derek Carr and how he's just a check down guy. There was a post, or there was a quote that Tyrann Mathieu 3 years ago had where he talks about Carr and he's like, look, the strategy when playing him, guard the check down, look at the deep ball. Beyond that, you have control of the midfield, all that stuff. There's an analysis of how Tyrann Mathieu would guard Derek Carr out there, and it's the same thing that applies to what he's doing in New Orleans. It's just he doesn't have Tyrann Mathieu to play against. They're on the same team. But the same shit is applying.
No, it's not true because Joey Bosa had his assessment of what Derek Carr was as a quarterback, and Derek Carr went in and beat fucking the Chargers, and Derek Carr went and beat the Chiefs with Tyrann Mathieu, and Derek Carr has played against that type before. Sure. So,
and yet this year he's looking like the expectation for everybody else.
We're 7 games into a season in which Carr has not had the entire offense healthy. He has one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL.
Which I called. I said, thank you. I said it was overrated. I said Penning not being that good in pass pro was going to be a problem for Derek Carr, who is not good under pressure. These are things that we knew.
He's a good quarterback under pressure. He's not a good quarterback when he doesn't have time.
Okay.
When he's
however you slice it.
No. There's a difference.
Okay.
So if I'm a quarterback and I drop back, and as soon as I get the snap, I'm being tackled, I'm not going to be good.
Okay.
If I have time and there's some pressure and I can get the ball out and I have receivers who are getting open, etc.,
right,
I can be good. And Derek Carr has always been good when blitzed, when he's able to get rid of the ball, when he has 2.5 seconds, whatever, to get rid of the ball. But the problem is, on third down, The New Orleans Saints get blitzed, and if you watch the games, you see it
Mhm.
every time they have third down. He takes the snap, and immediately he's got two guys on him.
Right.
That's an offensive line problem. When
Of
he
course
has
it is.
time to move around in the pocket to do his thing, he
Yeah.
throws for 300 yards. Whether that's 15 times to Kamara, who gets yak,
Mhm.
whether he hits Rashid Shaheed downfield, Michael Thomas, come on. You don't get open like you used to.
Neither
Devontae
does
Adams.
Olave.
Devontae Adams is bitching about the same thing. De-
Mhm.
Olave is dropping passes. Juwan Johnson isn't fucking healthy.
Yeah.
Foster Moreau has everything tip off his hands.
Mhm.
Derek Carr is one of those quarterbacks that can be great when everything goes right. And what's happening in New Orleans right now is that everything is
It's
not
not going
going
right.
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 So he's playing better
Okay.
than Brian Hoyer would play, or
Sure.
or Jimmy Garoppolo would play in New Orleans, or certain other quarterbacks would be playing in New Orleans. He's playing better than them.
Nah, Aiden would be playing better.
No, no. Derek Carr is a good. He's a good quarterback.
Good. Yes.
If you want to talk in the top 8 to 15 quarterbacks, he will finish as that as often as he can. He
Not top 8. No. 15 to
eight
19.
he's finished within the top 10 plenty of times. What I'm saying is
Sure. I
from top
guess.
8 to 15, that's his range. When
Okay.
everything goes right, he finishes there.
Okay, so at
Top
his
8 to
peak,
15. At his peak,
sure.
he's within the top 10. At his bottom, he can be below 15, but when everything goes right, he's within that 8 to 15 range. That's
Okay.
him good, right?
Sure.
When things are going right. The
You've said this
problem is
Dad, you've said this 5 times.
for
I get it.
years, things have not been going right.
Oh my God.
So, what do you want?
Nothing. I just like I have heard the same thing, and you just said when things are going right, clearly they're not. I said
Right.
in like before the season started that Andres Pete, Eric McCoy, Trevor Penning, and Ryan Ramczyk were an overrated offensive line because people thought that that people were saying, especially Saints fans, they're like, oh, he's got a defense now. Oh, he's got an O line now. All this and that, and it's like, no, they're worse than
No.
our O line, and your
Right.
weapons are worse.
The defense is better, but
Sure.
he doesn't have the offensive line that he I mean, his offensive line in New Orleans is as bad as the Raiders offensive line, period. They don't
I
let
mean,
him have the room to fucking do what he does. We've
sure.
seen we've seen we've seen Derek Carr at his best. We've seen
Okay.
that. He can't be at his best unless he has an offensive line. Is he Jalen Hurts? No. Is he a quarterback that can elevate the team without a good offensive line? No. And we know that about him. And I've never said anything else about him. I've never said he's good
I just
regardless of the team around him. I've only ever said that with the proper environment, he can be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. If he has a defense that can keep him on the field, and if he has an offensive line that can protect him, he will be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. There are lesser quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls with better defenses and
okay.
better offensive lines. There
Okay.
are there are better quarterbacks than him with lesser offensive lines and lesser defenses that have elevated their teams to win.
Okay.
Like Patrick Mahomes. He's not that. I've never said he was that. But Derek Carr is a good quarterback.
Okay.
He gets shit on way more than he should.
Okay.
And you know who else I see that's going through the same thing? Desmond Ritter. Desmond Ritter is a capable quarterback.
No.
Desmond Ritter
No.
Desmond Ritter is a
He's
capable quarterback.
fine. He's okay.
Exactly. That's
But
exactly what I'm saying.
but you cannot win with an okay quarterback.
You can if you have the other pieces in place.
All right, most teams don't, and the teams that do, 49ers with Brock Purdy, that's like one of one.
Derek Carr would win a Super Bowl with the 49ers.
I would win a Super Bowl with the 49ers.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most teams, Desmond Ritter maybe would, but he doesn't have that. He's on the Falcons. We're never going to see him on the 49ers. Trey Lance couldn't do it with the 49ers. He also couldn't stay healthy.
That's
Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't be on the
that's
49ers and win a
it's
Super Bowl.
that no. Jimmy Garoppolo could have. He didn't stay
No, he
healthy.
couldn't.
Jalen fucking Trey Lance could.
Mhm.
He didn't get the chance.
Also wasn't good enough, but
That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. He's
I'll,
never
I
been
guess so.
given a
I will
chance.
give you that one for the sake of argument, but Brock Purdy is better than both of them.
Brock Purdy
And even
has been better than Trey Lance.
and will continue to be better than Trey Lance. Trey Lance doesn't even start.
At this point, yes. Trey Lance
Right.
has never been healthy enough to start for a
Right.
string of games for the 49ers. Nobody knows what Trey Lance can do.
So you take Trey Lance on the Raiders?
I would take Trey Lance over Brock Purdy moving forward.
No.
Give me healthy Trey Lance over healthy Brock Purdy,
I'm
regardless of the system.
I'm okay.
I will take the athletic profile over everything else.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
it's pretty simple.
Should we move on to Let's Mock?
What are we gonna mock?
I don't know. This is your show.
It's our show.
Oh, am I officially your co-host?
You are this week.
Well, let's get one thing straight. I should be paid for these appearances. You took 3 hours out of my day.
You volunteer 3 hours of your day, so you can fuck off.
Well,
Okay.
still, I should be getting paid just because I need money.
God damn it! What is happening? Enter.
Yeah, I like money.
Burgers.
Oh, that reminds me, I gotta make patty melts for dinner.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, there we go.
I want them.
Why are you not talking? Because it's dead air right now. What a good co-host you are.
You're still looking this up. I don't have anything to add.
I'm no. You have everything to add.
Everything I say, you're gonna be like, well, no, because all I want to talk about is the Raiders or how bad Derek Carr looks.
That's because you're a hater.
Maybe, but I'm right. Darren Waller,
Uh,
Derek Carr since leaving don't look good. That's all I need to know. Trey Tucker, who we brought in, looks good. Outperforming Quentin Johnston. That's all I need to know.
don't stop
Michael
talking.
Mayer for the next 10 years will be a better tight end than Darren Waller is right now. That's all I need to know.
Don't stop talking.
Tyree Wilson is already better than Cleveland Ferrell ever was. That's all I need to know.
Don't stop talking.
Okay. Viewer that might eventually be here, hope you're doing well. We're doing a segment now that's called Let's Mock, where we go ahead and we do a mock draft. We do anywhere from 3 to 5 rounds, and we go in a snake format. Usually we'll either flip a coin or it'll just be I delegate the first pick to Brendan.
All right,
Brendan,
can you see it?
no?
I'm sharing it.
Okay, what am I supposed to look at? I don't see anything.
It says share screen. It should be
Oh,
sharing the screen. Do you see it?
it's not. No.
So, what the fuck?
Okay, that's an applause.
Right, but what the hell just happened? Get in there, do this thing. Yeah. Oh,
No, I don't.
there it
There we
is.
go.
Okay.
Okay.
Let
Halloween
me.
movies?
Yeah, let's do it again.
No, I mean, okay. This is our mulligan. This one we have to do. Ooh.
Burrito fillings.
Whoa.
Okay,
Okay.
so that beat out
Okay.
TV comedies, um,
Hmm?
non Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, Halloween movies, burgers, beers, and TV comedies. So we're doing burrito
Wait,
fillings.
hang on. Now that I know all of those, let's re-roll.
No,
Yes.
no,
I
we're
didn't know
doing
all of
burrito.
the I didn't know
We're
all the
do,
categories, so I couldn't start thinking of things.
but right, but you didn't need to know the
Best
categories.
of
Now,
three. Best of three. Come on.
no, we're doing burrito fillings.
Come on.
The other one, the other one was Halloween movies.
Okay, because I was just gonna say Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Halloween Kills or whatever. The Kid Rock Halloween, whatever the fuck.
All right, let's go.
All right. Cheater.
That's exactly why I'm showing this because I'm not cheating.
I saw you spin again. I know you did.
I spent I spend I spend once.
Jesus. Oh God, are you okay?
mm, no, we've been sick.
Ah, that's
Sick
right.
for 2 months. All
Okay.
right.
So burrito fillings, you get
So
the first pick.
I get the first pick.
All right.
I
I'm
know
already
what
going, by the way.
you get the I get the 101 and the
Yeah.
104. You get the 102. Or sorry, I get the 101. You get the 102. You get the 201. I get the 202, and then we're done.
Yeah, it's a snake draft. I get how it works.
I know.
So we do three picks.
I know. No, we get do two picks each.
Three picks each.
Two picks each.
Th-
And I
three
know
picks each.
two picks each.
Three
And
picks each.
I know that. I mean, if we do three picks each,
Then we're doing six total.
no, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Fucking okay. We're doing 3 rounds, so I get the 101. You get the 102,
Yes.
201. I get the 2-2, the 3-1, and you get the 3-2.
Yes.
All right. And because I know that my 101 you're not going to pick, I'm going to say that to the 3-1. So for the 1.01, I'm going to take carnitas. There
Okay.
is not one thing that you can put in a burrito that will beat a properly cooked. And what I mean by properly cooked is pork shoulder
Yeah.
braised in the fucking
Yeah.
fat of itself in
Some
the
burnt ends
oven
here and there.
for hours and hours.
Yeah.
Crispy, fatty pork carnitas. It doesn't matter what you put in a tortilla.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you whatever you add. Carnitas will raise the game of your burrito.
Okay.
Burrito fillings, the 101 is carnitas.
Okay. So with the 102, you said I couldn't beat it?
I didn't say that.
No, all right. Well, I'm gonna go with in the 2024 burrito filling draft. The Arizona Liam select another fucking burrito. What's better than 1, 2? And this burrito has carnitas in it.
Oh my god.
Because of how long it took you, I knew it was going to hit so hard. It's a big burrito full of
Well played.
Yeah.
Well struck, my son.
I can see the pride on your face. Your 2-1 is gonna suck.
That's my boy.
There's nothing that tops that.
So when you first started talking about it, I was like, oh, he's missing because at Taqueria and over behind our house, you can tell them to put a chili relleno in your burrito. And I was like, oh shit, I totally forgot that you can have them take a regular burrito and throw a chili relleno in it. And I was like, nothing can beat that. Even after I thought of the carnitas, like and then when you said another burrito, dead, just dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. Another burrito. Fucking, oh, what do you want in your burrito? Another carnitas burrito. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Fuck
this
you.
one's carnitas
Fuck you.
too.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck off. Fuck all the way off. Fuck every way off. Fuck you.
I'm so glad we didn't do Halloween movies.
A carnitas burrito.
Yeah.
That's a great fucking second pick.
All right. Yeah. What's your 2-1?
No, you get the 2-1.
Oh yeah. Chicken. Just some pollo asado.
All right.
Or whatever.
All right. So the 2-2. Fuck.
That one threw you off and was the smartest answer.
I mean, what do you want out of 1-2?
I mean,
Like you fucking killed the draft.
You
I
just
got a
take
really
a bite.
good
You're
one.
like, oh. You take a bite. You're like, oh shit. There's another burrito.
Oh, more carnitas.
Yeah.
Fuck off. God damn it. All right, with the 2-2, I'm gonna take a fucking hot dog.
You know what? You can. This draft is already fucked.
I mean, Jesus Christ. It was either birria or a hot dog. And
yeah.
If I'm biting into a burrito and there's carnitas and then a hot dog, I'm like, fuck yeah. And then the 3-1, I'm gonna take what is the 1-1,
which is
everybody on the planet,
consomme, right?
Except for you.
Oh, cilantro,
guacamole.
Oh.
All right. So at this point, what we're looking at,
you know, I knew that was going to be your answer. When
what we're looking at is, I have a burrito that features carnitas and an all beef hot dog and guacamole, and you have a burrito that features another burrito that happens to have carnitas in it, and what was your second one?
Just chicken.
And chicken, and now you have to go for a third.
All right, so for a third, let's go with some sour cream.
All right, so here, so our burritos are lined up, and
Yeah,
mine is carnitas, an all beef hot dog, and guacamole, and
yeah.
yours is another burrito in it with carnitas
Which is better than the first burrito. This is the decoy burrito.
and some chicken and some sour cream.
Yeah, this is the decoy burrito. On the
As
outside,
as great as I feel like your answer is, I still feel like I win this.
I don't care if you won. I won life. That's the
I
funniest I've ever been.
I,
That's
I
the funniest and quickest I've ever been on my feet. I won.
I appreciate that. I
Yeah,
really do. I really
I'll
do.
take the moral victory.
Yet
I wouldn't eat your burrito because it has guacamole in it.
I
So,
am the one from whom spermeth you came, and that's great for me.
yep.
So everything that I do that's great, if he does it, it's great,
Hmm.
then that's
Yeah.
a win for me because I did good too. All right. Thank you guys for checking out this. None of you did, but thanks for coming in and watching this. It's the Monday Meltdown on the
Yep.
Fantasy Burn. I'm going to be doing it every weekend, pending my conversation with Matt Kelly this weekend.
Hmm.
And I hope you guys